Okie dokes, folks. Let's get this party started. As Prime Mover said, you are with Dumpster Truffles, broadcasting around the world and across the galaxy. We're in for a hell of a show. It's absolutely action-packed. Good morning, everybody. Julia, it's nice to see you out there in the crowd, my dear. How you doing? We got Prime Mover and John and Erica. How you guys doing today? How's everyone going? Do you guys want to introduce yourselves at the moment? I'm Dumpster Truffles, and yeah, you'll be rocking with the best of them.
I'm Carmen, and I'm still here in West Virginia.
Hey, I'm Jess. I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Mwah! It's from the Netherlands, and then my name is Puppy Max. That's not Dutch, that's French.
Aussie Patriot, my dear, are you ready to say hello to the world?
Hey, hey! Saying hello to everyone out there from down under Queensland on the sunny coast. Not so sunny at the moment.
Beautiful.
Okay,
and blah blah's out in chat. Use that troll hammer if you have to. Now, before we get started, remember this is a feedback platform. If you've got comments, suggestions, questions, anything at all that needs to be addressed out there in YouTube, tag my name so that I can see the Dumpster Truffles in the red, and I will pass that question on to Discord or to the anon in question. So interactivity is something that's built into these kinds of platforms. And tonight we are doing, we've got a mix of all sorts of bits and pieces for you. And it should be pretty damn interesting, actually. We'll start with slot 1, which is Carmen Morrison's devotional. And that reminds us to stay on the straight and narrow. It reminds us why we do this. And it also gives us a reason to behave ourselves, basically. We're doing this. We are a voice for the voiceless. We are acting for those that cannot. So that's the first slot with Carmen. The second slot will be Puppy Max, and he'll be bringing us Patrick Gunnels, as usual, and a few other bits and pieces that I'm really looking forward to. The third slot is me, and I will be doing a series of 25 or so tweets that I've gathered over the last week or so that are just amazing. I can't believe what's happening in the world at the moment. It looks like the whole of America's on fire at the moment. So that'll be my slot. Then we have Jessie O, who just got shanghaied into service, but she's a champ. She's rocking and rolling. So we've got fourth slot is Jessie O and Aussie Patriot, and they're going to tell us about the Q movement in Australia. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm only just beginning to get involved in the Australian side of this little endeavour that we're on. I mean, all the action was in America, but things are warming up in Australia, so it's important for us to keep an eye on our friends. So, and remember, guys, Australia is the best mate America will ever have. Then if we get a little bit of time, there'll be a bit of banter and discussion, but I can't guarantee that we'll have enough time to actually get there. And if we're lucky, Scope will show up towards the end of the show, and we'll close out with a prayer. Yeah, okay, guys. Oh, and John and Erica, pleased to meet you again. Carmen, do you want to take it away, hon?
Okay, well, this morning's text is from Romans chapter 12, verses 9 through 21. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. I found something from the West Palm Beach Church of Christ that went so well with this in explaining it. It said, let love be genuine. Quite simply, be real. Be authentic. Do not be fake. We are to exhibit genuine love. That is, get over what someone did to you and show them love. Don't be a hypocrite. Hate evil. Cling to good. We should have a holy hatred for everything that is evil. We cannot take joy in evil. We must hold on tightly to the things that are good. Paul is calling for a total commitment to what is good and a total rejection to what is evil. I want us to consider something very important. Real love does not love everything. We are commanded to hate evil. For love to be genuine, then we must not love everything. We cannot love everything people do, and we cannot love all the decisions people make. It is critical that we teach this godly worldview to other people and to our children. There is an evil, and there is a good. There is right, and there is wrong. We do not make what is right and wrong. Good and evil is not subjective to our desires and knowledge. Good and evil exist independent of our labels. Just because we call something good evil, or call something evil good, does not make it such. There is an objective standard that defines what is evil and what is good. We are to love good and hate evil. Love with genuine love. Love is to be shown to people. Love is not a thought. Love is not a feeling. Love is not an emotion. You love by doing. Show brotherly affection to one another. This is a call for acts of kindness towards others. Do good things for each other. Honor one another. Don't seek honor, but show honor. Showing honor for others truly requires humility. Not slothful in zeal, but fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. In other words, don't be lazy with what you ought to be doing for the Lord. Rejoice in hope. Our hope in God and in His promises lifts us out of our present difficult circumstances, bringing joy. Paul is not saying that life is easy or that there are not trials, but we have hope in our suffering because of the promises of life and deliverance God has made. Persevering in tribulation. Paul does not mean that we are passively putting up with things. When we hear the word patience, we typically think about being passive. He is not saying to sit back and take a chill pill. while going through suffering. He is teaching that Christians require an active, steadfast endurance. We are serving God even in the midst of suffering and tribulation. Be constant in prayer, always praying. Is this true of our prayer life? Can we say that we are persistent in prayer? Contribute to the needs of the saints and show hospitality. We cannot become self-absorbed so that we neglect the needs of other people. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. How difficult it is to speak well of those who do harm to us. To keep our tongues under control and speaking properly, that's hard. The teaching is easy in theory and so difficult in practice. Be sympathetic. Perhaps we are seeing a common theme arise at this point. Do not be self-consumed. Do not think about yourself only. Rejoice with those who are rejoicing. You may not feel like rejoicing. So what? We need to join in with the joy of others. Weep with those who weep. When others are suffering, we must not parade our joy, but join them in their sorrow. We must not be indifferent to the joys and sorrows of others. Live in harmony with one another. We must do what we can to have good relationship, not relationships that are full of strife and turmoil. The recipe for living in harmony is to think about ourselves properly. Paul instructs us to not be proud, thinking ourselves above others. Don't repay evil with evil, but be honorable in the sight of all. Consider how to act honorably instead of retaliating. Think beforehand to give honor, not to do to others what they have done to you. As it depends on you, live peaceably with all. You won't be able to be at peace with everyone because we live in a wicked world. But you must do everything on your part to live in harmony and have peaceful relationships. Disharmony and conflict may come, but you must not be the reason. Do not avenge yourselves. Let God take care of it. Instead of retaliating or avenging ourselves, we need to do good of every kind. Verse 21 acts as a summary. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Do not let their evil acts cause you to turn to do evil things. And the concluding thoughts. Have real love for others. Give to others and show them hospitality. Show honor toward others. Don't be lazy in doing good. Live in harmony with others. Live peaceably with all. Be sympathetic. Be humble. Never be wise in your own eyes. Do good and let God be the judge. Bless and do not curse those who persecute you. Do what is honorable in the sight of all. Father, as we see the terrible things happening around us, help us to remember to not repay evil for evil. Give us instead a heart to love others, doing what we can for them simply because it's the right thing to do. Forgive us when we fall short. Help us see through the chaos and not be distracted. Give us strength to stand and do our part. Bless each person listening and protect them from harm. Keep your hand on President Trump and give him the strength and endurance for the task that lies ahead. Touch the hearts of all the world leaders and cause them to do what is right. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And
Amen.
thank you.
Amen.
Okay, the takeaway that I had from that was that we have to keep it real, keep it grounded, keep it level, make sure we've got our feet planted firmly on the ground, and try to live the Word of God. And another thing I got out of it was the difference between anger and righteous anger.
And there is a difference. Yeah, you can either allow yourself to become like the rest of them in your anger, or you can take that anger and use it to do things the right way. There are laws that we are to go by, not just here earthly laws, but in God's law too.
Yeah, it's important we keep our moral compass. And we know that the moral compass is an accurate moral compass because of the Word of God in the Bible. That's how we conduct ourselves. Okie dokes, folks. Do we want to hear a song, or are you ready to go now, puppy?
We're ready to hear a song, but I'm also ready to go. I need to check my mic level on YouTube chat. Made some changes, so I hope it's better now.
Okay, can we get a 5x5 from chat if Puppy Max's audio is okay? There's a bit of a delay, so we'll have to wait a moment, folks. But do we hear a song, or do we roll with Puppy's material? I wouldn't mind some banjo.
Let's hear some. Yeah, we need to play Armin's music at the end of her, read.
Okay.
Let's get some banjos.
Excellent.
5x5s. I see 5x5s. Yay!
There you go. We're doing well. We're rocking.
Wagging my tail.
Was that you that just summoned Elvis, Carmen?
I did. I'm looking for the song he wanted.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm looking at a few new names out in chat. You guys are awesome. Julia, pleased to re-meet you. And Mark, glad you could make it, mate.
Are you ready for one?
Let's rock and roll, baby. Puppy Max. I'll just respond to a question from Storm out in YouTube. She asks where Ozanon is. Ozanon needed a little bit of time. She's still a member of the server. We're all on good terms. There's no bad blood. Hopefully she'll be back pronto, but she needed a little time. So it's all good. It's just managing the team. So there's no bad blood. And yeah, are you ready to roll, Pups?
Yes. Well, go to my Puppy's Notables. Scroll all the way down. You'll see you post number 34. Please put that on screen.
Doing so right now. I love this one. It's the Go post. Are you going to read this for us, mate?
Yes. This is important to know because you gave us the end right at the beginning. And it means that the Patriots, they knew everything. They've been planning everything, and the deep state is falling for it. And they're, falling into the traps. I'll read post number 34, which is from an Anon. New Clearance Patriot, Anonymous, November 2nd, 2017. New Clearance Patriot. Fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS's order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from primary fallout which is slated to occur 11/3 upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, actionably 11/4. Confirmation to the public what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. POTUS's order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operation necessity. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided as so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has long been broadcast. We will be initiating the Emergency Broadcast System, EMS, during this time in an effort provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news, to all citizens. Organizations and or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. There you have it. It compares to what we're going through right now, don't you think?
That's beautiful, mate. I've always thought that 34 was the go post. Once 34 begins to transpire, events will have to move extremely quickly. So I've actually got a little bit about Q being relevant today later on as well. Thank you for reading that for us, Pups.
Welcome. All right, now next is above that you see Patrick's permission that needs to be posted.
It's on the screen now. Do you want me to read that, or do you want to read that?
Please read it.
Okay, Dutch Truth Seeker, we also know him as Puppy Max, says to Patrick Gunnels, I know you said I don't need your permission, but I have to. Otherwise, I won't be able to play this in the Friday live show. So here goes. Do I have your permission to play this read in coming Friday's live show on Dumpster Truffle's YouTube channel? And Patrick responds, yes. And you have my permission to play anything I have ever done, any way you like. So Patrick isn't shy about his work. He's good at what he does, and I'm really happy that he's given us carte blanche permission to use his material. So there you go, YouTube. This is not a copyright infringement in any way.
All right, so above that, you will see a video which I'd like you to play, and I want people to know that this is not only funny, it is very important that you watch this. So listen carefully.
Gotcha. I will play that now. And remember, you won't be able to see the video playing. YouTube will. Radio silence until the end of the video, please, folks. And g'day, Violet. How are you? And I'll play that video now.
All right. Story time with Carlos. Don Lemon speaks the truth, but not in the way he realizes. From Breitbart.com, quote, perhaps this is some sort of mechanism for a restructure in our country or some sort of change in our country for us to deal with whatever we need to deal with in this country as we look at pictures on the right of burning and pictures on the left of looting, end quote. You bet it is, Don. These are the last nationwide riots we'll see during Donald Trump's two-term presidency. Just as Trump revolutionized the way we deal with pandemics, he'll revolutionize the way we deal with these periodic temper tantrums. This is just the first step. This is from Breitbart.com too. Quote, Attorney General Bill Barr issued a statement after the president's declaration. Quote, the violence instigated and carried out by Antifa and other similar groups in connection with the rioting is domestic terrorism and will be treated accordingly. Barr also said that 56 regional FBI joint terrorism task forces would be used to identify criminal organizers and instigators fueling the violence. Guess what that means? Anyone associated with or funding Antifa or any of the others get the federal hammer dropped on them. Twitter can no longer allow them to post, neither can Facebook. Antifa was infiltrated by feds long ago, and members were identified from their DNA. Retired federal law enforcement and armed forces harvested their DNA. And this is why we're talking story time today, because you get to see pictures of this in Carlos's thread. First, see the heavy man in the background raising his shirt. Look, Antifa freak right here, beating a guy right here, guy with a cane. And look here, a heavy fellow raising his shirt to reveal a badge. And this is why we have Carlos. He's wearing an obsolete DEA special agent badge on his belt. He's a retiree working to build an airtight case. His after-action report went into the file on Antifa. Everywhere Antifa went, undercover feds unmasked them so they could be photographed, and their DNA was harvested. This is the slickest operation I've ever seen. The man in the center of the frame positions his team. Man in center of frame. Antifa threw a can. The team leader points to it to tell somebody to pick it up for DNA. See the green gloved hand on the left? Okay, we're gonna analyze this photo now. Antifa threw a can, right, over here. Team leader points to it to tell somebody to pick it up for DNA. Here we go. All right, somebody threw a can. Team leader points to it. Come pick it up for DNA. All right. Watch this video a bunch of times if you need to, but there it is. All right. Now, right side. Wait, hang on. Okay, threw a can on the right. Team leader. Now, green gloved guy on the left. All right, see, green glove right there. So this guy right here signaling to this guy in the green glove. Right side, team leader positions someone else right. The bald man in the green shirt is the bait. All right, here we go. Bald man, green shirt, he's bait. Guy with green gloves. I guess this is like a right-wing protester or something. All right. The bald man in the green shirt, I pointed him out earlier, center of frame, he's there, went right up to an Antifa leader and started filming him with a cell phone. Boom. Okay, here's your bait. These are the Antifa scumbags. This guy goes right up to him. Now remember, there's a dude here with green gloves, okay? We think that he's like harvesting DNA or something. All right. The Antifa attacked, and the bald man tore off the Antifa's mask and goggles. Okay. Bald man, bait. When the Antifa attacks, he... Look at him go. It's so awesome. All right. He's definitely in a melee of some sort with these guys. He's old and bald. That's really hilarious. Okay. The team leader and the man in the white shirt ran in as blockers while the bald man escaped. Bam. All right, check it out. Now, this was the guy, the one I'm pointing to right here. That's the guy in the green gloves. Yep, see, there's his green glove right there. So they block in. Bald guy bails. Guy in white shirt helps as well. The man in the foreground saw that the Antifa's helmet had fallen off, so this man ran in and collected the helmet. Boom. All right, check it out. Okay, remember, these guys are the blockers. That's the guy, the bald guy. He's already running off. All right. I don't know about that helmet. I'm looking for it, but you know how good Carlos is at this crap. All right, moving right along to the next photo. Look, flying cone. Not totally certain where that helmet is. I'm sure we'll see it in one of the next frames. I don't see a helmet. Well, you know what? We're just going to have to take Carlos's word on this one. Oh, look, there it is. Okay, somebody comes and grabs the helmet right here. All right, harvesting DNA. All right. YouTube took this video down, but it shows another angle of the DNA harvesting. As the dumpster is moved into position, the bait in the green shirt, again, we're talking about the bald guy, I think, in the green shirt gets a text message. He's on the left of the screen. All right, let's look at this. All right. Left of the screen. Same dude. Remember him? Okay. He was from the last one. He's getting a text message. He was the bald dude who was bait in the last video, in the last little montage. Moving right along. There he is. He's got his text message. He's walking. Now, I think these are... Okay, let me make sure. Let's see what Carlos is saying. Okay. As the dumpster is moved into position. So it looks like Antifa is moving the dumpster into position. Okay? And then text message guy puts his phone away. Dumpster's being moved into position. And, all right. Well, you get the idea from that. So the team leader talks to another Antifa leader who later had his mask taken twice. Talking to the guy identifies him to invisible watchers who send in a snatch and grab team. Okay, let's check it out. All right, green glove dude, okay? Green glove dude, good guy, camo hat. Talking to this Antifa, I think. Talking to him kind of paints the target, okay? So talking to this guy, good guy, wearing We the People, talking to this guy right here, Antifa, paints him as a snatch and grab target, okay? The Antifa targeted by the snatch and grab team is goaded into attacking, and the bait takes his bandana and goggles, okay? See how that works? All right, so I think this is the Antifa that that the ponytail guy with the green gloves was talking to. Goaded into attacking. I'm sorry if I'm not getting all of this for you guys. Okay, look, there's a hand on a helmet. And now the helmet's off. Okay, you get the idea. So you snatch these items, and then you can harvest DNA from them. He runs like a little kid back to his family. All right, there's a little jackass that has his helmet taken, and he's a little bitch, and he's not trying to recover his helmet, okay? Here he is. They have his DNA and his face. After they identified him, they figured out the best way to make him talk. More infiltration, or squeezing his balls, whichever worked best. There's a little son of a bitch right there. By designating 56 groups as criminal organizations, Trump makes it illegal for anyone to help them. As always, people were impatient. They wanted symbolism, not an airtight case. Do it fast and wrong, not slowly and right. Certain activities will now become federal offenses. The thing about Antifa is that its members are as childish as Don Lemon. Now, Antifa gets to learn what life is like as the American mafia. Mayhem won't be as fun anymore. So, yes, Don, the riots changed everything. We won't see this type of violence ever again. Mayors and governors will have to play ball since they'll be up against federal laws. Thank all these retirees and undercover agents who spent 4 years making a case that will withstand legal scrutiny. Once again, Trump wins, Democrats lose. It's in the natural order of things.
Okie dokes, guys. That was the end of Patrick Gunnell's video. That was absolutely cracking. These Antifa idiots, we're going to win. And the reason we're going to win is because they fight for money. Their beliefs are not grounded. We fight for love and respect and care. And that will drive every person on the planet into our arms, and we will form an army with them. What's next, puppy?
Yep. It also corresponds with what Barr said during his presser about the DNA, and now we see how they get it. So, and they knew the plan all along. Okay, go up. You have to post another picture of the permanent permission. You don't have to read it because it's the same picture.
Gotcha.
Leave it up for like Leave it up for like 5, 6, 7 seconds. And we're ready for another one. Which is also, there's another one, 10 minutes from Patrick. Play, and I'll drop it in the chat. Oh,
g'day, Bindi man. Good to have you with us. Sorry, where were we up to, puppy? Did you want me to play that second Patrick video?
Yes, please play it.
Okay, in Discord you won't be able to actually see it, but the YouTube crowd will. Please observe silence until I inform you that the video is over. And it's playing now.
Carlos Oswita thread incoming. Whoa. We may be seeing yet another Donald Trump head fake. This is what Trump tweeted. The United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. There's something crucial in that tweet that I just discovered. Let's go to Attorney General William Barr's statement. From Justice.gov, Attorney General William P. Barr's statement on riots and domestic terrorism. It ends with this. It is the responsibility of state and local leaders to ensure that adequate law enforcement resources, including the National Guard where necessary, are deployed on the streets to reestablish law and order. We saw this finally happen in Minneapolis last night, and it worked. Federal law enforcement actions will be directed at apprehending and charging the violent radical agitators who have hijacked peaceful protest and are engaged in violations of federal law. to identify criminal organizers and instigators, and to coordinate federal resources with our state and local partners, federal law enforcement is using our existing network of 56 regional FBI Joint Terrorism Task Forces, JTTF. The violence instigated and carried out by Antifa and other similar groups in connection with the rioting is domestic terrorism and will be treated accordingly. Back to Carlos. Guess what? There's no law against being a domestic terrorist. Congress is reluctant to make such laws because of First Amendment issues. The United States Code defines international and domestic terrorism as such. 1. The term international terrorism means activities that A. involve violent acts or acts dangerous to human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the United States or of any state, or that would be a criminal violation if committed within the jurisdiction of the United States or of any state. B. appear to be intended 1. to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. 2. to influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion. Or 3. to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. And finally, C. occur primarily outside the territorial jurisdiction of the United States or transcend national boundaries in terms of the means by which they are accomplished, the persons they appear intended to intimidate or coerce, or the locale in which their perpetrators operate or seek asylum. 5. The term domestic terrorism means activities that A. involve acts dangerous to human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the United States or of any state. B. appear to be intended 1. to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. 2. to influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion. Or 3. to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. And C. occur primarily within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Back to Carlos. There's actually no statute for which you can charge someone for being a domestic terrorist. The Patriot Act allows surveillance, asset seizure, and search warrants issued for domestic terrorists, but again, there's no charge of domestic terrorism. Adam Schiff wrote a domestic terrorism bill, but you can bet that he'll pull it now. So let's go back to Trump's tweet. The United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Did you see the word domestic in there? No? You most surely don't. And don't call me Shirley. What if the 4-year investigation determined that Antifa is an international terrorist organization? Barr said that the 56 FBI Joint Terrorism Task Forces are now working with the counterterrorism departments of state and local law enforcement. That's pretty damn big. See, Trump understands that making Antifa domestic terrorists leaves too much in the hands of insane Democrats. The Portland City Council pulled their cops from the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Today, Portland cops can only cooperate if the chief of police approves. There's no way Portland would agree to Antifa being designated domestic terrorists. But if Antifa are international terrorists, the feds can do all the work. Portland can shove it up their exhaust pipes. Again, the Trump administration investigated Antifa for 4 years. That's a hell of a long time for domestic terrorists. Did you know that Saddam Hussein's agents worked with American leftist protest groups? Quote, many of the people and groups that Iraqi Baathists worked with outside Iraq were not necessarily pro-Saddam or pro-Iraq. They were simply against the war on Iraq, or later in the 1990s, against international sanctions. This was the case with various leftists in the West. As such, the Baath Party often operated covertly and through cover organizations. Baathists working on behalf of the regime presented themselves simply as Iraqis concerned about the suffering of their friends and families in their home country. In doing so, they were able to bring together disparate groups of peace activists, Islamists, leftists, academics, Arab nationalists, as well as mainstream politicians and members of the media. William Barr said that Antifa's violence is domestic terrorism, but he didn't say that Antifa are domestic terrorists. You may not know that Al-Qaeda means the base. It's structured like Antifa, loosely knit groups. But the U.S. has had 20 years to figure out how to deal with such organizations. Antifa in the U.S. is stupid. They had no idea that everything they touched left behind their DNA. They had no idea that nanodrones exist. William Barr confirmed what I said last night. Quote, "It is the responsibility of state and local leaders to ensure that adequate law enforcement resources, including the National Guard where necessary, are deployed on the streets to reestablish law and order. We saw this happen in Minneapolis last night, and it worked." End quote. Just a few hours earlier, the governor said that they didn't have enough people in the whole state. And then suddenly, there were enough people. All the professional arsonists were stopped. They disappeared. No arrest reports. The governor gave permission for the Green Berets to go in and take out the people doing the most damage. This will never be confirmed. People now think that clandestine operations are announced beforehand. "What's your evidence?" they asked me. "The results." Duh. As usual, nobody knows how anything works. Quote, President Donald Trump tweeted Sunday that the United States will designate Antifa as a terrorist organization, even though the U.S. government has no existing legal authority to label a wholly domestic group in the manner it currently designates as foreign terrorist organizations. That was from CNN. Antifa is not a wholly domestic group. How could CNN and the ACLU not know this? It's an international group. In Berkeley, Antifa are chanting in Italian, antifascista. On the left, holding the vegan lasagna, link in the description, check it out, is the guy who the feds unmasked and goaded into attacking so that they could harvest his DNA. He's the one who told them to pull up their masks because of the cameras on top of the buildings. Trump and Barr know all the pitfalls of designating American Antifa as a domestic terrorist group. But if they designate the entire global organization as an international terrorist group, that's all she wrote. The ACLU and Congress can't do a thing. Now, that would be in keeping with Trump and Barr's fearlessness, and it would shock the absolute hell out of all of the experts talking about American Antifa.
Okay, that second video is over. That was absolutely cracking. These people are in a lot of trouble, these Antifa guys. Where would you like to go next, Puppy?
The last part is my a regular reading from the book, A Day at a Time.
Beautiful.
Today is June 5th.
Can I just say, can we organise a formal thank you tweet to Patrick Gunnell? Because we use his stuff every week. It's really, really good content. He doesn't charge us for us. He's given us his permission. Can we just have a quick thank you from the bunker team, from us? Just a quick tweet just to say thank you, Patrick. And the stuff that Patrick was talking about, that leads directly into my kind of stuff that I've got ready. So, sorry, Puppy, I cut you off there, mate.
Yeah, it's okay, because I already did that last week. I thanked him harshly, and I'm planning on asking him to come live on the show.
Ooh. This is interesting.
So, oops, I spoiled.
Good morning, Doxy. And what was I going to say? Oh, and if you want to drop the link to Patrick Gunnell's channel or whatever it is, if you want to drop that back into YouTube, I highly recommend you check this guy out. He does great work and great delivery as well. I enjoyed that enormously. That was really good quality information. Thank you for finding that, puppy.
And I already dropped the two links in chat.
Oh, okay. So you're ahead of me.
Right on it. Oh, yeah. I'm like Trump. I'm ahead of you.
5D chess. 5D chess in the Discord.
Yeah, and I can't even play 1D chess. All right. We go. June 5th. Reflection for the day. Let me scrape my throat. The Addiction Anonymous program teaches me that not too many people can truthfully assert that they love everybody. Most of us have to admit that we've loved only a few and that we've been quite indifferent to many. For the rest, well, we've really disliked and hated them. We in the Addiction Anonymous group find we need something much better than this in order to keep our balance. The idea that we can be possessively loving of a few and ignore the many and can continue to fear and hate anyone at all has to be abandoned, if only a little at a time. My question for today is, do I concentrate on the message rather than the messenger? Today's prayer is, may I understand that there is no place in my recovery, or my addiction, or in my entire life for toxic hatred or lackadaisical indifference. One of the most important positive ideas that I must carry with me is that all humans, as the children of God, make up a loving brother and sisterhood. May I find it hard to hate a brother or a sister. My prayer for today is, my remembrance for today is, hear the message, don't judge the messenger. And that was all for me.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I'm not sure what that actually meant.
Okay, ask away.
It's slipped my mind. Can you refresh the subject for me, please?
The subject is that you don't treat the messenger, that you listen to other people, and that you concentrate on the message rather than the messenger, and that you are being taught, in this case by the Addiction Anonymous program, how to love. You know, people who are addicted usually only love themselves and love their addiction, and they usually don't care for anyone else. Only a few, maybe one or two or three, they really love, and the rest is they're not important, superficial.
Okay, so don't be selfish in our care for other people. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, find your balance.
Thank you. Do we have anything more from Puppy?
Oh, that was it for today, peoples.
Okay.
I'm gonna celebrate the weekend.
It's Freaky Friday. Carmen dropped
It's
a really,
Friday.
really interesting image. Just a moment. I'll bring this up to a full screen. Carmen, can you tell us exactly what we're looking at here? Testicom's Carmen, are you there?
The lightning.
Testicom's Carmen. Yeah, the lightning.
The lightning
Yeah,
strike.
the screen now.
Apparently, it hit up there in D.C.
Did it strike the actual obelisk itself?
I don't know. I was just sent that picture.
Excellent. It's very impressive. Thank you. Okay. What do you reckon? Song time?
That picture was posted on in one of Q's most recent posts, and it says biblical. Actually, it says have faith. It was posted in Q post number 4419. It's a short video of like a number of hits in DC. It's my.
There are people out in chat saying that it's in the shape of a Q, or very nearly.
Oh, I'll have to rewatch that then.
Okie dokes. Carmen, would you like to play us the song, please? Anything you think you want to hear? And then we'll roll with the third slot, which is my pickings and gatherings from the week.
I'm trying to get the link copied and my fingers aren't cooperating.
Okay. We've got a new subscriber, Cameron Harmon, has just joined us. Thank you. Welcome aboard, Cameron. Pop up in YouTube and say hello to the rest of the folks. We don't bite. Well, we do, but only in play. This is a peaceful chat room. And John and Eric
Are you ready?
Time travel. Anyway, sorry.
Are you ready?
Let's roll. Beautiful. Thank you very much. We'll roll with the third slot now. Are you good to drop the links for me, Carmen?
Dumpster.
Yeah, yes, Pastor.
When you go to my Puppies Notables, I just dropped the link. It's a very short link, like a 1 or 2 second video. That lightning image, and you see it happening.
Gotcha. I'll play that now. Radio silence, please, and I'll let you know when the video's over.
played like a couple of times.
Holy moly. The actual obelisk itself was hit. That's incredible. Look how much lightning there is, and it directly strikes the 666-foot monolith. What date was this taken?
I don't know.
I think
I
yesterday.
haven't seen the video.
Please repeat.
It was posted by Dan Scavino at 8 hours ago.
Wow.
But it was probably yesterday. And do you see that the first one, a huge queue?
Yes, I did. I actually played it and full screen for the folks.
So awesome.
That's incredible. It means God is actually keeping an eye on what's going on in Washington, D.C. at the moment. There are no coincidences, and I think that might have been a sign from God himself.
Looks like it.
Okie dokes. Anything else to address before
I'm going to shut up now.
Okay. This was my approach to my section for the show this evening. I couldn't decide what to cover. There is too much happening in the world, so I decided to focus on America because there seems to be quite a bit of action in America at the moment. Quite a bit of action. The whole country's burning, it looks like. So I just gathered up the very best, juiciest pieces of information I could find during the week, and I will go through 25 or so tweets and short articles. I won't be able to watch the YouTube stream. If there's any questions, do you want to pop them into the Discord chat screen, please? And someone keep an eye on chat because we're a bit short on wrenches, it looks like. Anyway, just give me a moment to get to my files. Just a moment, guys. Nice post, Aussie Patriot. Thank you. Okay, this one comes out of RT, and it's 4 days old, 3 days old. And the headline reads, War on Antifa as Trump vows to declare it a terrorist group. AG Barr equates rioting to domestic terrorism. Just a moment, please. The byline to this article is Jonathan Ernst, and I'll pick a few bits and pieces out of this. The United States will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization, President Donald Trump has said. The move comes amid anti-police brutality protests and riots gripping the country, which he has blamed on the radical left. Remember, this one's a few days old. It just got worse and worse from that point on. I'll continue with the article. Trump tweeted his most serious threat to date to the Antifa activists on Sunday, offering no further explanation. 1 day earlier, Trump, as well as Attorney General William Barr, accused the loose-knit group of orchestrating rioting and looting across the country following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis on Monday. Remember, this is a document that has a political bias to it. So to continue with the document, there is a tweet from Donald J. Trump from June the 1st, and it reads, the United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. That's big trouble for Antifa. Anyway, so I will continue. If designated as a terrorist group, Antifa will join international groups like Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah, as well as domestic organizations like the Aryan Nations and the Black Liberation Army, which are all on the government's blacklist. Before the 9/11 attacks, the list was populated exclusively by foreign groups. However, the post-9/11 Patriot Act expanded the definition of terrorism to cover homegrown organizations. The irony there is that was brought in during George Bush Jr.'s stint in office. So Trump is here using Bush's own laws, the Patriot Act, against Antifa at the moment. Just a moment. So I will continue. With riots gripping America's major cities for the last 5 nights, reports of Antifa organizers directing rioters and providing them with weapons began to surface. Conservatives clamored for Trump to crack down on the militants, and Sunday's tweet is the first indication that the president intends to do just that. And I'm jumping ahead in the article slightly. While any forthcoming designation would make it easier to use counterterrorism legislation against violent protesters, targeting Antifa as a group would be a difficult proposition. The organization has no clearly defined hierarchy or membership, and many disparate groups of leftist militants have used its imagery and slogans. I picked that out because that's simply not true. It's a highly regimented, hierarchical organization that is funded by Soros's philanthropic activities. And we already know that our favorite Anon Q has told us that they already have everything. So Antifa's in the crosshairs at the moment. And this is the tail end to this article. Some left-wing commentators accuse the Trump administration of attempting to criminalize dissent. However, the alleged militants have come under scrutiny before, and in countries more liberal than the US. In Germany, where the anti-fascist movement began in the 20th century, intelligence agencies closely monitor Antifa groups, and police union head Rainier Wendt has described their actions as the basic definition of terrorism. And that's all I'm going to pull out of that one. And which means I'll move to the next article. Next, we have a tweet from James O'Keefe. And it's simple, okay? It reads, breaking at Project Veritas has infiltrated the violent group #Antifa and will show our undercover footage to the world tomorrow. This is a tweet publicizing a movie, okay? And it should be released tomorrow, I believe, or yesterday. It might even be already out. But apparently it's absolutely nuclear, super dynamite. If someone could grab the link to that video and drop it into YouTube, squirrel away that link and watch this video as soon as you can. I haven't actually seen it yet, but I am aware of the content. Anyway, so I wanted to give the film a plug. So it's #Expose Antifa. Project Veritas has infiltrated Antifa. And that's all I'm going to pull out of that one. If someone could grab that link and throw it into YouTube, that'd be great, please. I'll move on to Article 3.
It's actually very good.
Have you seen it already, Oz?
Yes, I have.
Is it as good as people say?
Uh-huh. There's a few, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Antifa's getting exposed, put it that way.
Have you got anything else to tell us about the...
No, it's just that, yeah, if you find them, watch them.
He had a question. Right.
Say again, you were breaking up, Puppy.
Yeah, Antifa movie had a part 2, and James O'Keefe published it on YouTube. YouTube removed it almost immediately and set it to private.
Yeah, they're playing whack-a-mole.
And they have a third movie.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's another movie coming out about big tech that they were had planned on publishing it yesterday because of all the Antifa crap going on. He published the 2 videos, and the big tech video will be published probably next week.
Awesome.
I'll keep you posted.
If you want to keep an eye on that for me, puppy, I'd be very interested in hearing about that. Anyway, I'll move on to Article 3.
Always.
Beautiful, thank you. Okay, this is a tweet from a guy called Eric Schmidt, and it reads, in a stunning development, our office has learned that every single one of the St. Louis looters and rioters arrested were released back onto the streets by local prosecutor Kim Gardner. That shows collusion between the formal power structure and the organization of Antifa. I just wanted to point that out. I'll move on to the next one now. I won't play the video. It's just cars rolling around and a few bits and pieces. Anyway, I'll move on to the next item. Okay, this is an article that comes out of the Daily Mail of Australia. And I'm just going to pull a few little bits and pieces out of this because it's quite a long article. But the date is the 4th of June. And the byline is Sophie Tanno. So the headline is, ex-head of MI6, that's one of the British intelligence agencies. I think it's the external British intelligence agency. So ex-head of MI6, Sir Richard Dearlove, says coronavirus is man-made and was released by accident after seeing an important scientific report. And the crib notes to this article are ex-MI6 chief Sir Richard Dearlove said he believes that COVID-19 is man-made. He cites an important report which claims virus was manufactured in a lab, believes China could be forced to pay reparations to the rest of the world. Give me a moment to go through this document. I think there's one more thing I've got to pull out of this.
I've actually got a little bit of a scoop on something very similar to this, and it's to do with the virus and testing. I'm going to try and... I'll try and bring it...
Top of your head, Oz?
I do, and I've physically seen the paperwork. So,
beautiful.
But I have...
Let's find a few minutes now for you to tell us all about it, please.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get permission for it to be put out there because this person is actually still an active agent. So,
hush, hush.
Yeah, it's actually a whistleblower on vaccines, the testing, and what's meant to be happening not only here in Australia but in other countries as well. He's actually an MI6 agent. Yeah. So I can't say much except for I will have to get permission before I actually bring that information out. We've actually been we've been discussing it, actually trying to see how best to get it out to the masses.
Right.
But yeah, might be for next time.
Okay, if you want to keep that up your sleeve and
I will
share it with us next time we go to air.
Yep, just a little scoop there.
Beautiful, thank you. Anyway, back to this article about the MI6 agent who says it's a bioweapon. Here we go. An investigation by the World Health Organization found that the virus jumped from bats to humans at the Wuhan wet market where wild animals are kept in cages and slaughtered for meat. everyone knows that that is horse flop. Anyway, this article continues with, the wet market is located not far from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the only level 4 biosecurity laboratory lab in China. And the wet market, this is my own knowledge, was less than 20 miles from the actual level 4 biosecurity lab in Wuhan. I don't think it was accidental. This was definitely an engineered event. But I have no source to back that up. And one day I'm going to do a thorough dig into the COVID-19 and get a chain of custody from the engineering of the virus all the way up until it's spread across the planet. But that's for another day, and that's all I'm going to pull out of this article. So I'll jump to the next article now. Okay, I liked this one. It comes from We Are the News now, at QAnon Real News, and it reads, Fun facts. The last time Saturn was in Aquarius was during the Rodney King riots. So we're talking astrology here. So during the Rodney King riots, Saturn was in Aquarius, and the last time Pluto was in Capricorn was during the American Revolution. The last time Neptune was in Pisces, Rome collapsed. Right now, we currently have all three. So we're looking at planetary alignments of astrology. I don't put much faith in astrology, but I certainly do understand that the heavenly bodies do affect us. And apparently, astrologically speaking, we're in a very critical time. And that's all I wanted to pull out of that one. Before I jump to the next article, I will also say that with the the Atlas comet that is currently in motion in our solar system, I'll try and get an anon known as Crystal Time back on the show, and she can give us her expert opinion. But anyway, I'm going to move on to the sixth article now. Okay, the sixth article, I'm going to play the video, and this one is absolutely awesome.
Hey, so at one point, a woman sort of facetiously asked if there were any paid protesters in the House, and of course everybody shouted no and groaned. But you stood up and indicated that you are a paid protester. What did you mean by that?
Well, I meant, like we all get paid to
No, I don't know. Please explain.
Well, it's a difficult thing to explain, but basically, anytime that you're given the opportunity to protest and somebody will pay you to do it, that's like twice as good as just doing it on your own time.
So you weren't kidding around. You actually meant that you have been paid at some point to protest?
Yeah, like
How can I get in on that?
Yeah, okay, so, you go to like GeorgeSoros.com and you just sign up right there. You put your name in, you put your email address, and there's an empty box there where you say how many times you're willing to protest and how much you want to get paid.
And you get a check directly from Soros?
Directly from Soros.
That's incredible.
Signed by him. He even invited me to lunch.
Does he sign it in blood?
He said if I'm willing to like gather some more friends, I can get paid like twice as much for every friend that I gather and kind of set up a pyramid scheme.
And you can get rich just based on protesting for Soros, right?
I already have, yeah. So basically, I've been organizing most of the protesting that you see in California so far, and it's all due to being paid. If I wasn't paid, I would be, like skiing. Why?
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I just wish more people knew about it because then we could actually like start a movement.
Okay, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys, paid scumbags. And I'll go back to the point that I made earlier. They're fighting because they want money. They're an organization based on cash payments, pyramid schemes like that man was just talking about. And we will win because we're not being paid a penny for what we're doing. We do it for the love of what we're doing. Anyway, I'm going to move on now to the 7th article. Okay, this comes from Dinesh D'Souza, who I quite like. And we have a very short tweet here with an image. And it reads, "This is the immediate response force of the 82nd Airborne being deployed to Washington, D.C. And it says, Antifa, we have a problem. And at this point, I'm going to say that if Antifa wants to try and start a civil war, it's going to be the most pathetic civil war ever. We got idiots throwing bricks versus the world's best military, and Trump will use it. Anyway, that's that article. Next, we go to an article from a tweet from Inevitable ET, and it says, "I used to live down the street from here," and there's an image of a pickup truck under what looks like an overpass, and there are pallets and pallets of bricks. And the tweet from Inevitable ET says, "Trump says it ends tonight. They're planning on entering residential and restaurant areas based on that location. So it's not going to be protests in the city square or anything like that. These lunatics are going to go after people in suburbia, in residential areas, and people have actually given them. Someone has paid for pallets and pallets of bricks to be used as weapons during the riots. This is coordinated. That's all I wanted to point out from that tweet. I'll move to the next one. Okay, I like this one as well. It comes from Cat Turd, and this tweet says, "The Antifa losers are too damn dumb to understand what's about to happen to their wimpy, cowardly asses. They've been designated a terrorist group by the USA, and they think it's just business as usual. They have no idea how hard the bar hammer is about to drop on them." And I think I've got a little bit more on that later, but I'll jump to the next one. Okay, this comes from Samantha Jo Roth. You can see the image on your screen. I'll maximize that actually. What we're looking at is Washington in flames. East, north, southwest, it's just on fire. Anyway, the tweet says, "The nation's capital is legitimately on fire in every direction. This is unreal." And I can't believe that I'm actually watching these events unfold. I'll jump to the next article. Now we got a tweet from POTUS. And POTUS is going to open up a can of whoop ass. And Donald Trump had this to say. Real Donald Trump. "Crossing state lines to incite violence is a federal crime. Liberal governors and mayors must get much tougher." So remember that these Antifa protesters, they were bussed in from out of state. Once that bus crosses state lines, it becomes a federal offence. And I will also point out that the RICO Act, which was formulated in the 80s, that's RICO, I don't quite have a link to it at the moment, but RICO makes it illegal for a criminal organization to coordinate the way that Antifa does. RICO basically means that if you commit a crime as part of a group, you're committing an additional crime. So yeah, Trump's in ass-kicking mode, that's for sure. I'll jump to the next one. Okay, this one comes from QAnon76, and it reads, Antifa faction of Anonymous pushing fake scenarios about Trump/Epstein in an orchestrated attempt to distract and confuse the public from what's about to happen. And this is the cabal's attempt to muddy the waters. Trump is a good guy. Epstein was not. If you can connect Trump to Epstein, which is quite possible, they both moved in similar. Well, they were both rich. They would have been aware of each other's existence. I won't go into the Trump vindication, and I won't condemn Epstein in this. But basically, the enemy is just trying to muddy the water, and it's about the narrative. Who can hold the narrative? Who can hold the public attention? And blah, blah, Wales. Thank you, sir. RICO, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. RICO. Passed in 1970. Whoops, I was off by about a decade. The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO, is a federal law designed to combat organized crime in the United States. It allows prosecution and civil penalties for racketeering activity performed as part of an ongoing criminal enterprise. So, as I said before, it basically makes committing a crime as part of a group, it makes that an additional crime itself. Thank you for that, Mr. Wales. That was rather timely. I'll jump to the next one. Now, this one's a little bit interesting. It comes out of Newsweek, and it's just a moment. I got pop-ups to deal with. Okay, as I said, it comes out of Newsweek. The byline is Jessica Kwong. Now, this is a slightly older article. And it reads, the headline reads, the United States is falling apart like the Soviet Union collapse. And this is according to Ron Paul. Okay, Libertarian Republican leader Ron Paul said the American system under President Donald Trump is coming apart and that the booming economy this year is an illusion. And Ron Paul reckons, he says, this is a quote from him, we're on the verge of something like what happened in 1989 when the Soviet system just collapsed. The former Texas congressional representative told this to the Washington Examiner. I'm just hoping our system comes apart as gracefully as the Soviet system. Ron Paul said that a potential breakdown of the US system due to underlying debt, inflation, and inequality could result in a new monetary policy. The country's feeling a lot better, but it's all on borrowed money, he said. It's a bubble economy in many, many different ways, and it's going to come unglued. Ron Paul added that he expects that the US's footprint abroad will change. The next section I'm not sure what to make of, but I'll read it to you and you can think about this for yourself. Ron Paul says, we have ownership of these countries, but it's not quite like the Soviets did. He said, I think our stature in the world and our empire will end, and that's when, hopefully, the doors will be open and people will say, hey, maybe these libertarians have some answers to this. Again, this document has bias. That's obvious, but there's information here to be gleaned. Excuse me while I go through my notes. So, to continue with this article, Ron Paul says, the author of the article says, economic decline necessitated reform and was one of the reasons that led the Soviet Union to disintegrate into 15 separate countries, which left the US as the sole superpower. Ron Paul said that a collapse of the US system would be advantageous to a hardcore nucleus of libertarians, and that Trump could be up against a strong challenger in the 2020 Republican presidential primary if the economy is really much worse. And that gives us a heads up that the next event or narrative grab from the left will be an economic one. So I just wanted to bring that. To your attention. I'm going to jump to the next article now. Okay, the next article is also a little bit disturbing and interesting. And it's from federaljack.com. The byline is Popeye. It was penned by whoever Popeye is. And I will begin. Since the Act of 1871, which established the District of Columbia, we have been living under the United States Corporation, which is owned by certain international bankers and aristocracy of Europe and Britain. In 1871, Congress changed the name of the original Constitution by changing one word, and that was very significant, as you will read. Some people do not understand that one word or two words difference in any legal document do make the critical difference. But Congress has known and does know this. So in 1871, February the 21st, Congress passed an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia, also known as the Act of 1871. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress creates a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10-mile square parcel of land, blah, blah, blah. The Act of 1871 passed when the country was weakened and financially depleted in the aftermath of the Civil War, and it was a strategic move by foreign interests. In parentheses, it says international bankers who were intent upon gaining a stranglehold on the coffers and the neck of America. Jumping ahead slightly. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation called the United States. The corporation, owned by foreign interests, moved in and shoved the original Constitution into a dustbin. Jumping ahead. The Constitution of the United States of America is the Constitution of the Incorporated United States of America. It operates in an economic capacity and has been used to fool the people into thinking it governs It operates in an economic capacity and has been used to fool the people into thinking it governs the republic. It does not. Instead of having absolute and inalienable rights guaranteed under the organic Constitution, we, the people, now have relative rights or privileges. One example is the sovereign's right to travel, which has now been transformed under corporate government policy into a privilege that requires citizens to be licensed. That means you are a commodity. So the tail end of this article. By passing the Act of 1871, Congress committed treason against the people who were sovereign under the grants and decrees of the Declaration of Independence and the Organic Constitution. The Act of 1871 became the foundation of all the treason since committed by government officials. So everything that the government has done since 1871 has been done illegally. And Aussie Patriot has a comment. And it's, just like they did in Australia. And you are absolutely spot on. And I hope to address the constitutional legalities of Australian law at some point in the future. But anyway, I'm finished with that article. I'll jump to the next one. This is just a quickie. This is just a quick tweet from a guy called Hyvee, Hyvee7. Get this. It's simple. The arrests they made, the people were all from out of state. Now, that means that they crossed federal lines, state lines, in the commission of a crime, which makes it a federal crime. That's all I wanted to pull out of that. And the next tweet I will address comes from Brian Cates, Flynn and Breitbart's Army. And it simply reads, "You have to understand, the Trump administration has to let the plan hatched by these nationally coordinated terrorists unfold before he smashes it and rounds up the ringleaders. If he'd done it 3 days ago, there would have been a massive outcry. There will be no doubt." And he's talking here about the preparation of the American people to allow POTUS to act with impunity and do what needs to be done. And I'll jump to the next tweet. Okie dokes, folks. This one's another quickie. This comes from EM_KA_17. And it reads, "All the riots are well orchestrated. Buses full of groups of people waiting for instruction and a person giving instruction. At real Donald Trump, do we not have anyone left in federal law enforcement who can investigate, find out who is doing this, and stop it?" I probably should have had this one first in the presentation, but you get the picture. I'll jump to the next article. Now we have a tweet from Rudy Giuliani. And this is what Rudy's got to say. When the mayor of Minneapolis asked his police to flee from their police precinct, he proved he is incapable of protecting his own people, their property, or their lives. This is the result of the criminal-friendly policies of so-called progressive Democrat mayors and governors. This tweet indicates that we're looking at an octopus that operates in a coordinated way. We've got paid protesters, and then we've got plants, I don't know, the operatives within the city of Minneapolis who are actually abetting the destruction of their own city. And yeah, I'm going to jump to the next article.
You're getting ahead of me.
Oh, what's that, Carmen?
You're getting ahead of me.
That's okay.
I can't keep up.
It's okay. How are we going out in chat? Everyone happy? Questions, comments, anything?
Seems all good to me.
Okay, I have a Discord image that I can't open. It won't pop up for me. I'll get to it later maybe, but I'll move on to number 20 in the tweet stream. Okay, this comes from Ring of Fire. And Ring of Fire has this to say: "I've reached saturation. My head hurts. COVID-19 is a myth. 5G is a major threat. Gates is being hunted down. US corporation is gone. Currency reset is imminent. NESARA announced for July 4th or 6th. And Antifa paid by their destroyer. And then we have a crop circle image. And then we have what is called penumbral lunar eclipse. So that just puts it all in a nutshell. We've got COVID-19, 5G, Bill Gates, US corporation, currency reset, NESARA, and Antifa being paid. Oh, you got the image for me. Thank you. It wouldn't pop up on my computer.
Hey, Dumpster.
Yo.
I came across something quite interesting on Twitter just a couple of minutes ago, and it's got to do with something that I thought was quite interesting. Is it okay if I pop up a tweet?
Absolutely. Pop it into the bottom of general text, and I'll get to it now. I'll address that immediately, Oz.
Cool.
While we're waiting for Oz to upload that, I'll read this letter to you. Okay, this is unclassified and it comes from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Washington, D.C. It reads, Memorandum, so a circular, for the Chief of Staff of the Army, Commandant of the Marine Corps, Chief of Naval Operations, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, Chief of the National Guard Bureau, Commandant of the Coast Guard, Chief of Space Operations, Commanders of the Combat Commands. Just a moment. And the subject is Message Joint Force. So this is a guy who has issued a memo that goes to every commander of every branch of the US military. And point 1. Every member of the US military swears an oath to support and defend the Constitution and the values embedded within it. This document is founded on the essential principle that all men and women are born free and equal and should be treated with respect and dignity. It also gives Americans the right to freedom of speech and peaceful assembly. We, in uniform, all branches, all components and all ranks, remain committed to our national values and principles embedded in the Constitution. Point 2. During this current crisis, the National Guard is operating under the authority of state governors to protect lives and property, preserve peace, and ensure public safety. Point 3. As members of the Joint Force, comprised of all races, colours, and creeds, you embody the ideals of our Constitution. Please remind all of our troops and leaders that we will uphold the values of our nation and operate consistent with national laws and our own high standards of conduct at all times. And then we have a handwritten section here, and it reads, we are all committed, I'll start that again. This comes from Mark A. Milley, who is a general in the US Army, and he's added handwritten text to the bottom of this memorandum. And it reads, we all committed our lives to the idea that this is America. We will stay true to that oath and the American people. And that's a circular memo from the Secretary of Defense, Deputy Secretary of Defense, Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Director of the Joint Chief of Staff. So basically, the Army is saying it's down with Trump for whatever happens. They're getting ready for, they're getting ready for what's happening now. They're not getting ready for it. Did you drop that article, Oz?
Yes, I did. It's from We Are the News Now, or at QAnon Real News. And it's just some little fun facts that I thought was quite interesting in the times we're in. Just above.
You see those two pictures I just dropped? Oh, sorry.
Hang on, I'll just address Oz. I think I already read this tweet. Fun facts. The last time Saturn was in Aquarius was during the Rodney King riots. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn was during the American Revolution. The last time Neptune was in Pisces, Rome fell. Right now, we currently have all three. So, astrologically speaking, we're in uncharted territory.
Yeah, I just thought it was a reminder to what the things that are happening and going on around us at the moment and how it reflects and how things are actually falling into place. I think it's fascinating. Yeah, it is.
And it's happening astrologically as well, so I don't understand it, but I don't dismiss it either. Anyway, Poppy Max has dropped a couple of choice little snippets of information. We've got the first one from a document called Deadline, and the headline reads, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, city officials cutting $100 to $150 million from the Los Angeles Police Department budget. The funds are to be reinvested in communities of color. Right, so they're stripping the police and they're going to pretend to solve all the problems of black folk in America. Poppy has also dropped another article, and this is unbelievable. I don't believe I'm reading this. Minneapolis City Council members consider disbanding the police. That's just mental. Anyway, I'll get back to my stream of tweets. If anything else pops up, just poke me at it. Okay, next we have item 21, and it's a tweet from DJT, the real Donald Trump. The United States of America will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. And now we get to 22. Now this one's an absolute cracker. I've done a little bit of digging on this, but not much, because it's pretty hard to find veracity in the information I find. But it comes from Lady War Anon at Christine Poloni, and it's boom. And this isn't just a boom. This is a huge nuclear boom. George Floyd, the guy that was killed while he was unarmed and in restraints, George Floyd's killer wasn't a cop. He was a CIA hitman. I knew it. He was maybe the Boston bomber, the Sandy Hook shooter, Derek Michael Chauvin, age 44, of Windermere, Florida. So I'm going to maximize that image so you can actually see what is shown here. Okay, we're looking at an image from the Boston bombing, and it shows the same man at the Sandy Hook shooting and the Boston bombing, and he is also the same man that apparently killed George Floyd. Now, the police officer the supposed police officer that killed George Floyd, first of all, his face doesn't match his official portrait, his official police portrait. Also, his badge is crooked. The badge on his shoulder is the wrong kind. And this is dodgy. This is as dodgy as it gets. This is an engineered, structured, managed race war to try and steal the narrative back for the Democratic Party as it crumbles. And just a moment, I'll get to the next article. Okay, this comes from a guy called Bush320. For the people who think the global mass arrests are a complete farce, allow me to explain the legal justification to what is soon about to take place. For the last 19 years, our nation, the USA, has been undergoing a silent war between military intelligence. Hang on, I need to pop that one open. Okay, so for the last 19 years, our nation, the USA, has been undergoing a silent war between military intelligence. Hang on, I need to pop the thread open. So, silent war between military intelligence and the cabal, the New World Order. Though I can't go into all the details, America has not just been at war against terror, but with embedded terrorists and traitors operating within our own country. So I hope I'm painting you a fairly accurate picture of what's going on in American society at the moment. I'll jump to the next article. Okay, this tweet comes from Gold Telegraph, and the US dollar, the final act. And this comes from Gold Telegraph. I think I said that, I'm not sure. Anyway, the tweet reads, "The unthinkable is becoming ever more likely. The end of US dollar dominance and the beginning of some new form of global monetary system will soon be upon us. It is bound to happen at some point." So, like I said earlier, the next stunt that the cabal is going to pull, it's going to be some sort of financial collapse. It would be my analysis of the situation. I just jumped to the next article. This comes from the same outfit again, the Gold Telegraph. Now, this is, I'm not sure what to make of this. I'll read it, and then I'll have a bit of a think about it. The Federal Reserve, so the American Federal Reserve System, is buying 1. Treasury debt, 2. Corporate debt, 3. Bonds backed by consumer debt, 4. Mortgage bonds, 5. Municipal debt. So the Fed is literally playing a game of Monopoly in real time. I don't understand the implications of purchasing so much debt, but I do understand that the US Federal Reserve System is pumping money out like you wouldn't believe. They're printing it like it's going out of style. And I don't know why they would be buying debt. If anyone's got any information as to what that actually means.
Yeah. What it means is that they own all the debt now. And what can happen is not the Treasury, but the Reserve. And they can go bankrupt. What Trump is doing is he is simultaneously with the current fiat economy, the reserve, the globalist deep state economy, he's taking that down, and he at the same time he's building the real people economy with all the new trade agreements he has made and is going to make. And what's going to happen is Federal Reserve will go bankrupt. And you know what happens when people go bankrupt in the United States? They can spend they're maxing out their credit cards and they're buying stuff, and then they go bankrupt. They keep the stuff and they can start afresh. Well, the same is going to happen with the United States. Because Trump is treating the United States as a company, not as a government entity. He knows what he's doing. He's going to get rid of the Fed and going back to gold-backed money, which will not be Federal Reserve notes. It will be Treasury notes. And the new $100 bill is an example of that. The new $100 bill, one half is Federal Reserve note, and the other half, the right half, is in gold, and it says Treasury note. And that $100 bill's been around for a couple of years. This is all being planned. They're going to take down the Federal Reserve. They're going to officially bankrupt the United States, which already is, because officially the United States is already in, receivership, in default. So,
Secession?
there you have it.
Yes,
That's
did you have something to add?
It's pretty much Nasara going ahead.
Indeed,
That's what it's looking like,
indeed,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep. Bring on the Jasara, please, Mr. Trump.
This is going to happen. The was planned on happening between 2021 and 2024, but it looks like because of what the deep state did, they shot themselves in the foot, well, actually in the feet, not the body parts. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. It will be. That's why Trump keeps saying, "And the best is yet to come."
Okay.
Buckle up, buttercups.
Buckle
That's
up
correct.
indeed.
That's correct. Yep. He's going to gold back. And to do so, he has to bankrupt the Federal Reserve and reset.
Indeed, exactly.
Reset. Amen.
Bring it on.
Amen. I know all this because I follow X22 Report financial videos, and he all explains it. And that's why I want to have his permission to have his financial reports played during our show, because they're only like 15 to 17 minutes long, and the people will hear what he is telling us, and it all makes sense.
Awesome.
So yeah, there you have it. Going back to gold.
That's a pretty good explanation right there, Papi. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, now we've got a really quite a terrifying tweet, and I can't believe the numbers in this tweet are accurate, but if they are, it makes me feel sick. Now, this is a tweet from a guy called Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. He's a doctorate, a philosophical. He's a PhD at MIT, and he says there are 800,000 children missing every year in America. As I study this as an MIT PhD in biological engineering, one thing becomes clear. It's time we, the people, demand a full investigation into the use of adrenochrome and how it is manufactured. More to come. I'm going to keep an eye on that guy, actually. I can't believe that, 800,000 children a year being fed into an adrenochrome factory. That beggars belief, and that is stressful. It's stressful to know that kind of information. We're talking about industrial scale adrenochrome harvesting from children.
It is in one of our previous shows that we addressed adrenochrome, and there was a question from YouTube chat if all the missing children, if there was a map of all the missing children, and then a map of all the underground tunnels. And I looked up and I found the two maps and, put them over each other. And the tunnels align with the where the missing children are.
Yeah.
They are, and the tunnels lead to harbors.
It's horrific. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, which brings me to Article 27, which is the tweet from Rick Barron. And it reads, at Royal Mr. Bad News, at Ripple, end of Admiralty Law. Restored Republic, I love gold, global currency reset, revalue, Gisara, Nisara, 1,000 years of prosperity globally. Godspeed, Judge. So it looks like some sort of Nisara or Gisara is in the pipeline. My own opinion is it simply sounds too good to be true, although I have seen quite a bit of evidence that it is actually going to occur. But I say bugger the money. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I say stuff the money, and I'll take freedom instead. Are you able to... Oh, we've got Scope with us. Good morning,
Scope.
Scope. How are you, sir? Okay, I'll continue. I'm looking at a piece of text with an image that came from one of the message boards. It's from 8kun. Now it reads, FUCK Trump, and there's an image of Trump being beheaded, and it reads, attention QAnon. So this is a question put to QAnon, or a statement made to QAnon. At precisely 2300 hours, 11 o'clock at night, the White House will belong to Antifa protesters. Welcome to the New World Order, bitches. No justice, no peace. If there is, what's going on? Have we got tech issues? Anyway, the point is, Antifa is absolutely brazen. And Carmen, if you can't drop that image, don't worry about it. I'm getting towards the end of this now anyway.
I was just wondering if you wanted it dropped in there with the language.
Oh, good thinking. Thank you, Carmen. Next, we have another piece of data from the Chans. And it's about Donald Trump. And it reads, they spied on his campaign, they arrested his friends, they threatened his supporters, they tried to hold the country hostage with rogue nuclear powers, they tried to criminally indict his children for false charges, they tried to shoot Air Force One with him on it to start a world war that would end the world, they tried to impeach him to suppress his truth, they tried to infect his nation to the point where it could no longer function, and they try to break his nation apart from the inside, destroying as much as they can along the way. His revenge will be hot, it will be ultimate, and you know what the best thing about it? It'll all be legally conducted. Can someone give Scope a quick message and tell him that he needs to pop into the general voice? Okay, the final article, I'm not going to get to it yet. I'm not going to address the whole thing. But it's executive order to prevent online censorship. And this repeals what is known as Section 230, which allows media companies to effectively censor at will. And the gist of this article is that an internet provider is the same as is basically the new form of the town square, and that freedom of speech is guaranteed on these platforms, and that these platforms are now going to be listed and treated in the same way as a public utility. So they won't be able to censor us. I mean, within reason, of course. But the kind of censorship that this little channel has been suffering from YouTube, hopefully that's over now. YouTube is not a publisher, it is a platform, and it will be treated like a utility. And that brings my section of the show to a close. We've got Scope with us. Would you like to say good morning, Scope?
Yes, I hope you can hear me. Good morning.
Good morning, Scope. Okay, now we're up to the Aussie section of the show with Aussie Patriot. Let me introduce Aussie Patriot. I've known her for years. She's active, she's vocal, she's organised, she's motivated, she's built a small army. She's actually getting out into the streets and doing the kind of stuff that I should have done on the last protest. Aussie has brought along Jessie O, who I've only just met this evening, but she seems pretty sweet. Aussie Patriot and Jessie O You've got the next 52 minutes available to tell us all about what's going on in Australia. Tell us about the rally you just had. Tell us about the rally that you're going to have on the 22nd. Just tell your story like you would.
Wow, talk about putting me on the spot
Hey
there.
guys. I'm awake.
Hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm Aussie Patriot, and I brought Jessie with me because she is in the state of Victoria, and she attended the last rally on the weekend.
You've got bad
And
comms.
so-
You've got a robot.
Yeah, I was thinking I couldn't hear either. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
A little scratchy.
Distorted, yeah.
Oh, bugger. All right, I'll log out and come back in.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jess.
Yeah, so I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, there's been a few interesting things happening down here. Pretty crazy. Sounds a little bit, not so much like America, but definitely in a dictatorship state I am. Just dictator and yeah, pretty crazy, I must say. Mm-hmm. What would you like me to sort of discuss tonight? Just talk about the weekend and the rally. Yeah. Some stuff.
Yeah.
You there?
Do you want to tell us
Yeah.
about the march that you just had, the protest action you had previously? I think it was last week. If you could tell us a little bit about that, what it was called for, and who attended, and how many people, what were the issues?
Yeah, well, I'll start off with the first one I attended, which was on the 10th of May. This one wasn't huge. It was on Parliament House in Melbourne. It was organised for I'm not going to say anti. Everyone keeps saying the word anti-vax, anti-this. It's not anti. It's pro-choice. It's us having a choice of what goes in our body. You know what we can and can't do. We have rights as people. Also about people starting to know more in regards to the Magna Carta. What else was there? So the 5G and obviously everything that's going on now with our rights and being locked in our homes for what I think is, not a virus.
So it's a multi-issue platform.
Yeah, it was basically everything. It was for vaccines, everything that everyone else is sort of against right now. Human rights, anti-vax. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else. The 5G, that was another big subject. 5G. Anyway, I sort of took a decision on myself and I ended up going on my own. This was on Mother's Day. And I ended up just going on my own. I thought, stuff it. This is what I believe in my heart, and I can, I really know what's going on in the world. And I was lucky enough to have sort of woken up maybe, I was going to say like a few weeks before that, to be honest, when I came across a few of my friends and got onto Q. Anyway, I've been going down the rabbit hole ever since and realising what's happening. Anyway, it was quite disgusting to see. It was just peaceful. People turned out on the Parliament steps. The police surrounded us, basically, all around us and around the back, on the steps. It's hard to explain. So it was on the steps of Parliament House. So they were at the top of the steps, all across, all around the sides, all around the back of the whole group. So the whole group, I think there could have been maybe, how much would there be? Not even 100, I don't think. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like, there was many subjects spoken of on that day. However, this guy Fenos, he has been amazing. Like, he's probably in his 30s. He started to he's been a big voice for Melbourne. He's started to, I guess, try and wake people up in his own way, and start to get the message out that things just aren't right. Things aren't adding up right now. He said a few messages on that day. Spoke about 5G. Spoke about, the forced vaccinations that they're trying to slowly say that, they're not mandatory, but, You can't go see your family in a nursing home. Oh, you can't go to work. You can't go in, you can't work in this job. You can't work in that job if you don't have the flu vaccine. That's where it begins. They were fine with that, weren't they? The minute he started reading from the Bible or discussing the moment he remembers, he goes, and he was going to wrap it up. It was all peaceful. He was like, okay, guys, like, we've said our message. We're going to leave after this. Look, I've just got one more thing to say. And he said, when I was 10 years old, my dad told me, son, make me a promise. And that promise was one day they're going to try and chip you. They're going to try and put a mark in you. And you promised me that you would never, ever get that. Okay, that was okay. And then he's looking through his phone to read the verse from the Bible, which I'm not too familiar with exactly what verse it is. You guys might know. In regards to the mark of the beast. He started reading that verse. The moment he done that, they came ramming through the crowd. I've got the video that I can probably share with you guys later. Literally ramming through the crowd. Probably 15 of them rammed through, grabbed him around the neck, ripped him out, and took him. Everyone, there was literally people crying. There was obviously people going off. It was disgusting. It was sick. It was absolutely sickening to watch.
Can you describe the behaviour of the police, please?
Yeah, that's what they done. They come and grabbed him around the neck. About 15 of them came to the group in like a V line, grabbed him around the neck, didn't even say to him, oh, look, you're under arrest for this, or that, or talk to him, anything, grabbed the neck, pulled him away through the crowd and surrounded him so like no one could get to him and try and help or whatever. And everyone was being, like no one was like, up there attacking or against them or nothing. Like everyone was just standing in there, I would say big circle and listening to the speaker. That's the actions. They came through, ripped him around the neck, pulled him out. Everyone was going crazy then because they're like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is not okay. Anyway, I found out later on that they had dropped him, I think it was a few blocks away, because they had nothing to charge him with. There was no reason to arrest him in the first place. He got dropped off and told not to go back, and he went home. And, he's been fighting and speaking louder ever since, which is amazing. He's now quit his job and everything and got into it, and which is amazing to see. But that day, those actions were just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't, like, what I was watching, it was like a movie. And, like, the fact that he was literally reading a verse from the Bible, and his whole message for that day was, ensuring that, we're not here against the police. We understand that you're getting directions from the, above, and, we're not here to incite violence. And he really made that message clear through the whole thing. And the minute he spoke from the Bible, oh my gosh, that was it. And that was caught on video by many people. So it was terrible. It was really bad.
It's
and then there was another guy. Yeah,
it's interesting, Jesse, that that happened in Victoria because I attended the rally last weekend. As you all know, we were promoting it on this show last week, and it was actually quite peaceful. We didn't have the police in our face. They were quite far back. They were just keeping us in a certain area. They didn't. There was no contact. And at one stage, I lost one of the people in the crowd that I was.
Sorry.
Yes.
Maria, I'm getting remarks in chat that Jessie is hard to understand. She sounds
really?
She's very low.
Soft. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hang on one sec. Is that better?
Yes.
Let me check.
Please, if you can hear Jess, let us know.
Yeah. Is that more clear?
I think so.
Yes, I can hear, but not very clear sound. They say muffled.
Muffled. Oh, could be this. New headphones I've got in. 1 moment. I'll be back.
Okay. She's getting the mic fixed. I'll just let you know that at the rally I went to on Saturday, it was we met up with some other people. all followers of you and
You've
arranged for
gone robot Oz.
not again. I even did a check for myself.
I'm working now.
You're a little bit soft, darling.
You're in there? You hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is that more clear?
That's a little better, yeah. Go for it, Jess. What were you were
Yeah.
talking about the cops' behaviour.
Yeah, so, sorry, Ozzy was just
Oh,
mentioning...
that's much better. You got a beautiful voice, Jess. Go for it.
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't realise it wasn't that clear at all. I have my new headphones in. Yeah, anyway, so, well, from... oh, sorry, I was just thinking in regards to Aussie. So, in Victoria, it was disgusting. They're definitely... They're full on in your face. They were... Yeah, the inciting violence. There was also another man that's well known. His name is Craig Cole. He's also a very big voice on social media in regards to the Australian government. He was there. He spoke for a little bit. Again, not violent. No, he very much knows his rights in regards to the Magna Carta and everything like that. So he had a little speak and then he left it because I think he's making a really big movement on social media. Okay, people are really starting to listen to him and they don't like that because he's doing a lot in regards to taking on the government. He's actually doing stuff behind the scenes. Like there's a lot going on. So he was there. Anyway, he ended up staying on the outside of the crowd after that, just sitting around. Next minute, everyone starts yelling, and I'm like, "What the hell?" Because everyone was just listening to the speaker, like just all nice, peaceful listening. We're like, "What the hell?" We all look around. He's being arrested, mind you. Sorry, he was the first one before Thanos, before the one that was reading the Bible. Yeah, they grabbed him, ripped him out to the top of the steps. Literally, I think there's about 15 or 20 of them around him in a circle. We couldn't see what they were doing to him in that circle. Pull him up. He had a cut head, bleeding from his head. Again, he wasn't violent or anything. They took him. They had nothing to charge him with. He knows his rights very well. Craig's very smart when it comes to Magna Carta. He's actually teaching people in regards to Magna Carta. So, again, they took him, dropped him a few blocks away, didn't they? They let him out. They couldn't charge him with nothing. Like, there's nothing to be charged with because what are you doing? Exercising your rights, talking? Wow, so it's disgusting in Victoria.
Even better than that, it shows that religion is powerful if they're trying to suppress it, which means they don't want us to be spiritually connected people.
Oh my God,
Christianity or whatever your belief system is, if it's a positive belief system like Christianity, these people are against it.
100%. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it, honestly. Dumpster that day, like that first when they arrested Thanos from reading for the Bible, I couldn't believe it. Everyone there was just in shock. And also that day, mind you, there's a bit of a setup again. They like to I don't know if anyone heard about, there was an arrest of a Sydney mother that was walking in the streets a few weeks ago with her, probably a month ago now or more, walking in the streets of Sydney with her son with a sign in regards to Magna Carta. Police all of a sudden pulled over and arrested her. It was on the news and everything because they done it violently and she was exercising her rights to have a little sign on her and walk the street. Like, what's wrong with that, That was huge. Did you guys see that?
I did. It was absolutely disgusting. She was pushing a pram. She had a toddler by the hand. They separated her from her children and then...
Yep. And so that was similar. And anyway, there was this dad that was dropping his wife off. He doesn't believe in what she's standing up for at the moment. Like, he doesn't really get it. Many sleepers. So he was dropping his wife off and walking with the kids. He had 2 kids in a pram, and this is across the road. Next minute, out of nowhere, the police are arresting him because they're targeting people with children to make a scene again for the news. And of course, that was on the news, wasn't it? Yeah. So they had through the day we could see there was little setups. And obviously on the news, they're like, 10 police were attacked and this and that. One ended up in hospital. It's like, well, did you guys fail to see all the footage that we had? So it was just once. It's obviously all the one-sided news that we that's on TV. And and then again last weekend I decided to go. This one was in Botanical Gardens in Melbourne, and yep, they were ready this time even more so with their freaking horses and everything surrounding us. Then there's this one lady. Honestly, we hardly even got to speak. Like it was even. I don't think it even went for not even an hour. I would say this one, to be honest, because this lady was speaking at the last protest, and she knows her rights, trying to teach people in regards to Magna Carta. She was literally standing. I've got some footage. She was literally standing in the middle. Everyone was around her on the grass, like just everyone standing around with their signs and everything. Like no, being violent towards police, nothing like that. Again, saying that we're here peacefully, everything like that. Next minute, she starts mentioning. Hang on, I had some notes. Yeah, she starts mentioning things in regards to Magna Carta, and the police. They're just directives, and and then out of nowhere, the police on the horse, and I think this one was the one that was quite violent from the last one. I'm pretty sure it's him. He gets on the speaker on his megaphone, right? Basically telling everyone, you need to move, like start moving, And she's like, no, guys, like this is just directives, and trying to teach people, no, these are directives. You do not need to listen to that, and explained her, like she knows more into it. I'm not too, I haven't learned too much in regards to Magna Carta, to be honest myself, so I do need to learn more. But she really knew her rights in regards, and just she was speaking in regards to common law and trying to teach people about that. They didn't like to hear that, did they? So that's when he piped up, and and then they just slowly started like breaking it up, like move, and like literally started like saying move, and started getting like quite loud, like really like, aggressively. And if people didn't start moving, they were going to get violent. Like, and that's not what you could feel it. You could feel it in the air and in my gut. Like everyone could feel it. So yeah, we all started moving and started walking toward in the Botanical Gardens, and people got broken up through the way. And it was luckily it ended peacefully. But if we didn't do that, there we go. There's some footage there of them on their horses.
If you want to just pause for a moment, I'll play that video.
Yeah.
Yep, I've actually got the rights to play his videos, so you can go ahead.
Sweet. Yeah, because Punisher was there as well.
And this is in Victoria.
How long is the video?
Not too sure actually, but I can check.
Hang on, no, I'll just play a few minutes of it if it's long.
Mm-hmm.
Playing now, and it says the media could not be played.
Oh.
Technology. Anyway, can I flip the conversation around a little bit, Jess?
It's actually working for me, but on Twitter.
Okay, it's not working through Discord.
Hang on, let me see. Is it gonna? It's working for me.
You have written permission to play it, so
yes, I do.
Show it with the video.
Yes.
Otherwise, YouTube could, if they don't like it, they could remove it.
Q Punisher is actually on my server. I got written permission from him.
Oh,
okay, if you can make a screen print.
Yes.
He was there too.
This is his footage.
You can make a screen print of it, and we can post it with the previews to the video.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, can I flip the conversation around a little bit? Now, the police, the same ones that surrounded you and took this man into custody and accosted that woman with a pram and turned up with cavalry to a peaceful demonstration. These people are part of our communities, okay? They work for us. They protect us. Our kids go to school with each other. I know a police officer personally. At what point do the police flip sides and think that and realize that they're working for the devil? Basically.
The sad thing is, I think they're infiltrated, like just in America, just like around the world. The basically the heads, they're in the cabal. Like, I'm going to be honest.
That's pretty grim, Jess. I'd actually give the coppers the benefit of the doubt at the moment, and I'm hoping as the movement progresses, we get more and more consecutive officers that get involved positively, if you know what I mean, 100%. Sort of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it has been a bit of a conversation point in regards to that too.
There's the permission for you. See, the thing was, we went as a group. Well, we met some people that we have members of on our server, and we organised to all meet together in a certain spot in Brisbane, and we didn't see anything like Victoria whatsoever. I mean,
hang on.
No, in fact,
Blabla's just given me the link to that video. I'll play that for you guys now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that video was played. And that was disgusting. Having cavalry deployed and having police outnumber protesters. This is not good. This is just so not good. It's not even vaguely amusing.
And
I got the opposite to Jess.
Yeah.
See, in Brisbane, we even had a little group of, when I lost one of the ladies, I went looking for her in the crowd and came across a little group of ladies who were actually preaching the Bible. So it was quite interesting that Jess has had completely the opposite. It's like black and white from state to state. I actually went and spoke to him and said, God bless you, thank you. It's nice to see you, actually practicing your faith and being open out there. And, they were just handing out free Bibles. It was just really, really encouraging, actually. I actually thought it was really nice.
Julia for Freedom out on YouTube says that there are more good than bad, and I'd agree with Julia. I think at a certain point the cops are going to develop a conscience. I really do hope they do, because it'll make the whole process go a whole lot smoother.
Oh, right, exactly. I mean, and I can share pictures and things that we gathered on the day. If Jess has got some, she can pop them up on the general text as well, but I've got some as well. We came across so many other people there that we did not know prior to the event. So not on our server, not on Twitter, not on Facebook. It was just random people. And I was actually quite surprised because I stood there in a group of maybe 2 or 3 of us. I brought my daughter with me. And in front of us was this lady with a huge big cardboard sign. And what she had was this huge big Q. And it was fun. And it was just brilliant. I've got the video, but I just can't see, it's too strong for the server. I can't seem to upload it anywhere, actually. So I've got to get some techie person to help me there. But we took photos of 2 lovely ladies. They were actually adorable. These 2 ladies were just chatting and arguing between themselves because they had seen someone who they were talking to, a truther who was in the Great Awakening sort of movement. And one recognised the gentleman, and the other one was like, no, it's not him. And they were arguing, wanting to go and introduce this person to us. And so they were bickering, and they were just so cute. They were elderly ladies. And I asked them, can I take a photo? On the back of their T-shirts, black T-shirts, they had, where we go one, we go all. And, that was just 2 people. I think by the end of it, we gathered at least another 10 people there that we did not know, and we ended up taking photos of all of us there. And it was a different experience to what it was like in Victoria. And I'm assuming other states as well. We all seem to have very different experiences from having to go to this rally. And it was nothing.
Of that group you were just talking about, of people that you met, and did you recruit a couple of them into your server? And did I actually, I think I chatted with one of them last night, and she said something along the lines of, I thought I was all alone.
Yeah, exactly. The lady with the big Q sign, she was shocked because I actually thought she was one of the people we had in the server, and she just happens to have the same name. And she goes, no, I'm not on there. No, I'm not on Twitter. And we ended up finding each other on Twitter, and one of the two older ladies with the black shirt with the "Where we go, one we go all," she goes, "Oh, can we connect? Can we connect?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm trying to go through my phone to see how I can, connect with her. The next thing I know, she grabs my phone and she goes, "Here, I'll just put my name and my phone number. Can you contact me? We can connect." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, go for gold." And then I was walking through the crowd, and I ended up getting tapped on the shoulder, and I turn around and there was a husband and wife standing there. I'm looking, I'm going, "I know you from somewhere." And they go, you live near us. And I'm like, "Are you kidding?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." I recognise them. That I only live in a little town where there's, I'll be lucky to have 1,500 people here. And they used to own the store here in town before the current ones. And they were there, and I had no idea that they were even awake, to any of it, and to see them there was quite interesting to what I heard from other people that went to rallies in other states. And I felt really bad, like you guys over in Victoria, you guys need prayers over there, something bad, because bad. It is just anarchy, but it's coming from the police. It's just,
we know who it's coming from.
We were left to literally have our protest, and it was so peaceful. Like, there were speeches, and we had the Aboriginal community there who the smoke ritual thing that they do. They spoke. There was, 2 or 3 different speakers. One gentleman there was just, I could swear he's awake. He's so awake. Like, just things that he was talking about. One lady was talking about the dark to light, and I'm thinking, are you red pilled?
Wow.
I've got to find you later, but I never could find her. I'm too little. I'm too short. I couldn't find anyone. So I kept losing my crowd. So I was, but I can share some photos with you guys. And look, there is going to be a global one, and I've got the video. It is on YouTube, so I'll have to give you the link to share maybe in the chat on YouTube. I don't know how that works, but I recommend everyone to listen to it. They are talking about 52 other countries under the Commonwealth who literally have had their constitution slowly ripped apart. And when you guys were talking about one of the posts earlier, I'd have to find it. It was brilliant. It's spot on. Exactly what's actually going on. And it's this actual video is called, I'll just find it. It's called the Global Lawful Rebellion.
YouTube is asking for a link.
Yeah, it's actually about it's Global Lawful Rebellion against treason and sedition, and it's on the 22nd of June worldwide, and I'm assuming it's mainly the UK, Canada, Australia. We actually here in Australia are hitting this rally very soon after the UK. I can get the link and I can give it to you. Not a problem. Would you like?
It again.
Sorry?
Oh no, I just thought I couldn't hear you again.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. I think my kids are on PlayStation Friday night. Where would you like me to post this link? In the general chat?
General text, and if someone can pass that on to the YouTube as well.
Yes, please. It is brilliant. It goes for about 15 to 17 minutes, but it goes through everything that they are actually standing for, which is basically, the Magna Carta. In 2001, the Magna Carta was officially recognised by the UK, but was refused. They had the paperwork and they wanted to hand in this paperwork, and it got refused by the police. And they were just exercising their rights. And this is what prompted all these global rallies.
Puppy posted the link, and I urge you all to watch it. I'm going to squirrel that away and watch it before I go to bed tonight. Thank you, Oz.
Oh, okay. It's basically what they did was the Magna Carta and the Bill of Rights is what they discuss in this video. And they gave the UK Justice a 30-day notice, basically, to deliver justice to the 52 states within the Commonwealth. And basically, when they went to attempt to give them this paperwork, they were refused by the police, which is against the law there. So this is basically what they're calling the final battle, our last chance. And where after the UK, so Australia will go up after the UK. It explains the government's having taken our rights away from freedom of movement, freedom of speech, etc., all that sort of stuff, and how they have tried to slowly take our constitution away from all of us. It's a really, really good video to get a grip of what's really going on. So, in other words, Australia isn't the only one that they've been doing this to. And when you were speaking about the 1871 in regarding to the Constitution being disintegrated by the elite, so to speak, and changing in America, it's basically the same thing here. And obviously in the UK. So, yeah. If you'd like, I can post some pictures up.
Yes, please.
Okay, not a worry. I'll just mute myself while I upload them onto the
screen. Popped some photos from the Victoria one the other day into... Where did I put it?
While you guys are sorting that out, Carmen dropped a few bits and pieces that I'll quickly address.
Okay.
Okay, we've got NZ applauds Clean Water Act reforms, news releases. US Senator finalised a new rule concerning Section 401 of the Clean Water Act. And, just a moment, guys. Hang on. Sorry, I've lost them, Carmen. I can't find them. Okay, we got a tweet from Joseph Flynn. Today-ish, when cultural and educational elites spend a generation telling kids what a SHIT country this is, they shouldn't be surprised when those kids grow into adults eager to rip it to pieces. None of this started last week or last year. The damage has been done over decades. And Joseph Flynn then tweets, "Today I will show my solidarity with the human race by treating people the way I would like to be treated without any prejudices, just like the vast majority of people do every single day. Everything you see on the news is propaganda, everything." Did I get everything, Carmen?
I think that was it. No, POTUS had tweeted something that concerned NC, and I had come across that other article about NC, so I thought they would go together.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else that needs to be addressed, Carmen?
I have a surprise.
And Puppy has pulled off an absolutely magic trick. Apparently we're getting Patrick Gunnels as a guest on the show sooner or later. So, Puppy, you are a freaking champion. You are getting good at this, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, I've given you a few moments. Are you ready to keep speaking, Jess or Ozzy?
Yeah, I've posted some pictures that I've got.
There, yeah.
Just
Bit.
What I'm
Hang on
going
one
to do
second.
is I'm going to go through each photograph
Hold on.
and maximise it.
This was my
I'm just
this was my General Flynn top that I'd done. I wore that on the day for General Flynn, like you guys. That was the one that I whipped together last minute.
you got a ball.
Hey, you even made T-shirts and everything.
Yeah, all of that.
Yes, we did.
Do you want to identify yourself there?
Are you talking to
Yeah, Aussie Patriot. Would you like
Oh,
to...
okay.
Those
Okay,
bronze kangaroos,
right.
is that you in the middle of the two bronze kangaroos?
I'm not saying.
Fair enough.
You had to be at the rally to find out.
Awesome
There we
picture.
go.
See
My
how peaceful that
child,
looks?
my choice. Where we go one, we go all.
Yep. So yeah, we made. I got some shirts made locally, which was really, really good at last minute. Like literally, we had 3 days to come up with shirts. So I frantically went and bought shirts and found a local printer who was brilliant, charged me a really good price, and yeah, we didn't have any spares, but
I'm looking at a bloke who's wearing a T-shirt that says "Ask me why I don't vaccinate." I'd like to get one of those shirts.
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Very
They actually stopped us with that because they saw our shirt. That was the other thing. When we were walking through the crowds, we actually had people stop us. And one of the ladies with us, Julia, she started yelling out, "Where we go one, we go all." And people would either yell out the same or, honk their horns at us. It was actually quite
I
fun.
cannot believe the difference in your. Oh, wow.
You have to come down here.
That
Up
is
here, sorry.
unreal.
We do not consent. I'm going to add that to my list of Q-isms. I do not consent. No. It is within my power to say no.
Can you see the 2 pictures of the older ladies with the "Where we go one, we go all" at the back?
I do. I'll maximise that photo for the people playing at home.
I have them facing me, but I
wow.
thought,
So those
yeah,
two old
don't
birds turned up for the...
Oh, how awesome.
I've got their name and number, but I don't know who they were.
That's cool.
So they turned up independently wearing Q shirts.
Yes, and they follow the movement. That's what I mean. Everyone that I bumped into that didn't have the shirts that I had made were not part of our little group that we went with.
Worldwide, baby.
Exactly. And the other 3 girls underneath in the next picture, I actually know them on Twitter, but didn't know they were going to be there. And we actually follow each other, and it was hilarious. I'm like, oh my gosh, hello. So, yeah, we got to meet a lot of people that were actually off social media, who either stopped us for what we were wearing and asked us, or we came across other people that had similar shirts or had something on their shirt that, was intriguing. So we stopped and spoke to them, and they were actually on social media that we actually were following already. So it was like, oh my goodness, I know who you are now. It was actually nice to put a name to a face or a face to a name. Either way, whether they were on social media or not. Most of them weren't. Which was quite surprising. So it doesn't matter whether we're on Facebook or on Twitter. The one message I got from that is there is more of us out there than what we think or know. And they might.
You betcha. Hey,
Don't.
just a moment. There's a rather interesting thread in YouTube at the moment about Assange. And apparently Assange was being released hours ago. And Mark O'Hagan says, I saw tweets that he was supposed to be on a plane. sorry for the interruption, but that's
No.
pretty critical information right there.
Yeah, that's brilliant news. Go Assange.
I
And
can't do it
whoever-
myself, but if someone wants to do a quick dig on Assange's legal status, that'd be a good way to round out the show.
Yeah, awesome. I really want to get you all to listen and watch that video that I gave you guys, because that explains how broadly this has happened. It hasn't been just America from 1871. It's not just Australia from 88, I think, that they put the Australia Act in place. It's not just the UK. It is 52 countries under the Commonwealth that this has been planned for. So it is a global, and I suggest that if you can get to your local rally on the 22nd in your state, that video will have all the information you need. There's a Facebook page attached underneath. Click on it, join that page, and find out exactly the location that the rally is going to be in. I'm still waiting to be approved on that Facebook page, so I can't give you exactly the locations in each state in Australia. But
I will be there with 2 other people in Sydney on the 22nd. And
where
part of my background is in publishing and artwork, so I'm going to make a comic book to hand out to people, explaining what we're doing and all about Q. So that's what I'll be doing on the 22nd, Oz.
Excellent. Well, remember, we've got the hashtag on Twitter, which is AussieQ. Look that up, join the people that are there, follow them, make sure that they are obviously who they say they are, they're actual patriots, not infiltrators. Please always check that. But follow those people that you feel comfortable, that you know there. We're gathering, and at the moment we're growing. Like last night when we had our chat, we had almost 30 people that had just joined the server and jumped on in the voice chat that we had. So it was really, really good. We're actually now starting to plan. Right now for the 22nd, we're going to try and create little goodie bags with little things inside, like the wrist bracelets, stickers, little postcards. There's going to be other little trinkets inside to hand out to people that we come across that are even interested in Q. And it's all being peaceful, truthful, and getting back to our real content.
I found something on Assange. It's from June 1st. And The Guardian, I just dropped the link.
Okay, keep the conversation going. I'll have a look at the article and then I'll see what's in it.
Yeah, read it. That's what I just want to suggest.
Anyway, Jess and Ozzy, you're doing really well at the moment. Jess, I know you got shanghaied into this, but you're doing wonderfully well.
I have to say thank you.
Check out my top, by the way, that I posted up there. My General Flynn top.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I ended up wearing on the day. And the funniest photo, I know it's not really too nice, guys, but the lady with the dog.
They're really cool.
Yeah, saying we do not consent, and she's sort of got the thing with Bill Gates. But yeah, that was lovely. That was sort of at the start. Like, that was at the start, everyone was turning up. And then once everyone was there, they were quick to break it up and just be like, it was unreal. And just like violently, move. I couldn't believe it.
We're going to have to gather our numbers. We need to get more people there.
But I'm telling you, if we didn't leave, like, they were going to get violent. I'm telling you. It was going to get violent. It was terrible.
You can sort of get that sense when something doesn't feel right. Yeah.
100%.
Well, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's something that we keep telling all the people that we have coming to the rallies that are part of our little group is, be on your best behaviour. Don't incite anything. Just keep to the fact. Just obey the rules. We don't want any trouble.
That's right.
if anyone comes up to you and tries to start anything, just walk away.
Well,
Just walk away.
I heard a little bit of information that I can't verify, and it was that at one of the meetings, Antifa actually showed up to protest with you. Is this true?
Yep.
Or?
I actually had a very good feeling that in Brisbane, the reason why we didn't have any issues was because those Antifa people were actually in the protest with us, fighting basically for the same thing we were. Again, it was.
No way. Antifa is bad. You lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas.
We had none. We even had I saw two ladies or two girls who had the anonymous masks on, and they were walking around. I don't know who they were. I didn't tap them on the shoulder.
See, there wasn't too many, like they were out there putting their signs up in Melbourne, but I did not care. Like I was wearing my shirt. I was handing out these wristbands that said the ones that Chook had.
Yep.
Handing them out, and I also had made some stickers on the day, a few days before, to hand out to people, and there was actually also a police officer filming too. So I felt on stage that he was really zoning into me, like who I am and whatever, especially with the top I was wearing. That said Q at General Flynn, where we go on, we go all. So for them to see that and me wear it proudly, it was like a bit of a big shock to them, I think.
Yeah, we did actually. Well, I was talking to the two ladies with the black T-shirts, and they actually said if you turn around and look at the balcony at the back building, there's actually two ambulance people up there. They're actually not ambulance people. They're actually undercover cops watching, and you could actually see that. Yeah. So they were disguising themselves.
That's another thing that's another thing I want to say, actually, sorry, in regards to the first Melbourne one on the 10th of May, on Mother's Day. There's a few people that have sort of almost confirmed it, but we're sure there was this one guy at the beginning walking around with a black face covered mask on, completely covered. We couldn't see who he was or anything. Oh, he happened to get arrested and make a big scene, and that that was a big photo op, and we're pretty sure that was a huge setup.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And that's why you have to always remember to be vigilant.
Mm.
Be vigilant on your surroundings at all time. Know who is around you, and always go with someone. Don't ever go on your own.
Mm.
But we're gathering on Twitter at the moment. We're building such a strong group of people, aren't we, Jess? I was just shocked at how many people are coming out.
I was actually shocked. Actually, I met a few, and I met some a few big ones that even I met at Q Era. Well, she's been queued. Remember the one? Q Era?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, you do. One moment.
Oh, Q Gal?
Q Era. She's been queued before. And,
I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
There are people that are just jumping on board at the moment.
It was just
people are waking up all the time.
It's my family would and my friends that think I'm going nuts. Oh my God.
I think we all have that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Someone somewhere around us thinks that we're a bit cuckoo, but when we go to these things and we actually unite and meet the person that we have been talking to, whether it's on Discord or Twitter or Facebook or wherever, it's actually really, really comforting. It's really nice to know that, and if anything is to happen, because we don't know what's going to happen within the next week, months with the whole, Nasara Jasara and, the lockdowns and who knows what else they're going to try and throw at us. It's us now that we're getting to know each other, exchanging phone numbers and knowing where we are, and having met each other, that is going to be crucial if anything is to come down on us down the track.
Yeah.
Can I just
Well,
get back to an earlier comment about building the army? You've done an awesome job building the army, but I have noticed one thing about this community is that it's very tribal. We need a unifying event to gather the tribes together. If we can get one decent perp walk, if we can get Obama or Hillary in cuffs before the cameras, that will change everything. We will explode. This movement is ready.
I don't know if we're tribal or anything. I mean, at the rallies, there was
I was
a.
talking more about the truther community in general, not specifically.
Oh, okay. Yep, I agree. There was a lot of truthers there at the Brisbane one, and they were from all calibers of people. You know, you had the anti-vaxxers and you had the anti-whatever it is, and you had the Aboriginal community there, and a lot of them were just searching for the truth. And the gentleman that spoke, I wish I had a recording of it. I'll have to try and get my hands on it. But he was actually talking about the Magna Carta and our Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And it was just refreshing to hear someone from that community actually standing up with us. Like, that was what I took from it, was that, yeah, okay, we've got a lot of little offshoot groups everywhere, but we've got one common goal. And that's what we need to focus on. And it is everyone's human rights of freedom to move, to not have these lockdowns, for freedom of speech. What we want to be injected in us is up to us. It's our bodies, to keep our children safe, all that sort of stuff. It is our choices, not the government. So that video that I posted and the next rally on the 22nd, it is very crucial. It's very important. You'll get what I mean once you watch it, and how wide scope it is on countries that are going to be getting involved. So if you want to come and join and get to meet us all out there at the different rallies in each state, get on the AussieQ hashtag, and if you want to get invited to one of the servers or the Aussie server, we'll send you out an invite to come and join us.
On that note, do you want to type something into YouTube text Aussie Patriot, and I'll get you wrenched up? You need a troll hammer so you can drop links and so forth. And Wales just got one. Blah blah just got a wrench, so you've got a troll hammer. Blah blah. Use it as you see fit. And Oz, if you can just type something into anything at all into YouTube, I'll get you wrenched up.
Oh, okay, thank you. You don't need to do that, but thank you.
It'll let you drop notes, drop links into YouTube if you ever need to.
Okay.
Anyway, folks, it's just hit 11 o'clock, which means we've got about 13 minutes or so. How shall we spend the blah blah? We're getting close to closing the show. We need to hear a prayer from Scope when he's at a convenient time. Have we missed anything? Have I missed anything? Is there anything that needs to be addressed or covered, or breaking information, or stuff that I've missed? What else do we need to do?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Thanks. I'm spitballing something here, but just kind of noticed some, issues that may be surrounding and swirling around. You hear me?
We lost you there, Scope. You broke up, and then there was silence.
Okay, is this any better?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay, just kind of notice some things that are swirling around here in the United States, politically. We've been seeing here in the news, Mr. Mattis. Are you guys aware who Mr. Mattis is?
The Mad Dog.
Yes, Mad Dog Mattis. Just one second. Okay, I'm in a better spot. Yes, Mad Dog Mattis. I have a very sneaking suspicion that they're positioning him to run against POTUS. Any thoughts on that?
That would be quite bizarre. Wasn't Mattis part of the cabinet?
Yes, he sure was. He was both fired by Obama and he was fired by President Trump.
And they're going to put him up as a candidate for 2020. He hasn't got a hope. Trump's got this in the bag, I would think, but possibly not if you're raising the issue.
Well, I was just curious, have you listened to the latest Dan Bongino, little clip that he did warning us about some of the things that he is privy to, some of the information that's coming down his roadway, telling us that there's been some talk about the higher-ups in the military openly discussing not following President Trump's orders.
So it's getting messy.
A little bit. Dan Bongino is a pretty reliable source. I mean, he's been in the Secret Service. He's guarded, the presidents there in the White House before, and he knows certain people, and it's privy to information that most of us may not be. He, of course, did not give any names, how he received this information, but it's just interesting how it seems like some of the generals are maybe now starting, or the higher-ups, I guess I should say, rather than generals, are lining up on the Mattis side, and some are still loyal to our president. Now, that is just some of the scuttlebutt that is coming out here as of late. Actually, that was yesterday.
As I understand the situation, the military is actually dividing up into factions. I've heard someone say that before as well.
Now, we're hoping that, this is just talk, that, our military can definitely, be called upon our president if there is, a call to this, a proclamation made to the Insurrection Act of, 1807, I think. So that's where the military are having problems. Some of the military are having problems not understanding why we may be going out and arresting protesters. They don't maybe understand that, I'm sure that some of them do, but I believe that the narrative is being played that they don't understand why they're arresting peaceful protesters. But we know, and you guys, of course, know that the protesters have been hijacked by factions of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and so forth.
I've always thought that at some point during this whole process, there's going to be some sort of military government in America, hopefully temporarily. But we're in uncharted waters at the moment. We don't know what the future holds. And the situation is so complex at this point that it's pretty much, any analysis is pretty much just a guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, like I said, I was just kind of spitballing that idea of why this may be going around, why they may be, trying to split up the military by using Mattis.
Right.
So hopefully that doesn't come to fruition, but just something that I'm kind of personally keeping an eye on. I haven't heard anything about him possibly sliding in to replace Biden, but of course we know that in July we're going to find that out, or rather soon, when as we get closer to the election, whether they're going to keep Biden in that seat or they're going to put someone else there.
Didn't Q warn us in one of his recent posts, I think it is, that those that were first loyal and pro-Trump flip and turn against him?
Well, that sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember which post that was.
I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't find it. And in a search, but I'm not entering the right search terms. But he said that that there will be people in the media and in the alternative alt-right media that are now or were pro-Trump turn anti-Trump. So, when I hear stuff like that from Dan Bongino, I think, maybe he is another plant or a sleeper cell or what have you.
Blah Blah's got a comment to make. Do you want to give this guy a little bit of time? What's on your mind, Blah Blah?
No, it was a really, really quick one. I've just posted a Fox News link, and it was just adding on to what Scope was saying about Trump and Mattis and whatnot. Really, I've not got too much to say about it. What's in the video will explain everything anyway, and I'll post it in the chat now. It will add on to what Scope was saying about Mattis and Trump, and who sacked who and what. It's kind of the Twitter spat, the social media that's come up now, the social media spat, that sort of thing. It's only a 2-minute 20 thing if you want to play it, by the way.
Shall I go ahead and play this if it's less than 3 minutes?
Oh yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure. You guys in Discord won't be able to see it. So go ahead, Blah Blah.
I'm just saying it's 2 minutes 20 if I'm not mistaken. It's just a quick one, but it's kind of it really extends on what Scope was just saying. So yeah, let's go.
You won't be able to see it in Discord, but YouTube will be able to hear and see it clearly. I'll let you know when the video is over.
Sandra. Fox News alert. A war of words, meanwhile, in Washington is heating up this morning. President Trump firing back at his former defense secretary after General James Mattis accused the president of, quote unquote, mocking our Constitution in a scathing new op-ed. Meanwhile, there are new reports the current defense secretary, Mark Esper, might be on thin ice with the commander-in-chief. Our correspondent, Kristen Fisher, is live from the White House with the latest. Good morning, Kristen.
And over the last 48 hours, at least 3 former military leaders have made the exceedingly rare move of criticizing the actions of the current commander-in-chief. First, it was the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mike Mullen, who said that he was sickened by what went down in Lafayette Square on Monday night. And then last night, the former defense secretary, James Mattis, he put out what can only be described as a scathing statement accusing President Trump of making a mockery of the Constitution and of actively trying to divide Americans. The statement reads in part, quote, "I've watched this week's unfolding events angry and appalled. When I joined the military some 50 years ago, I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. Never did I dream that troops taking that same oath would be ordered under any circumstance to violate the constitutional rights of their fellow citizens, much less to provide a bizarre photo op for the elected commander-in-chief." Well, it was only a matter of time before President Trump responded, and he did by saying this. He said that James Mattis's primary strength was not military, but rather personal public relations. "I gave him a new life, things to do, and battles to win, but he seldom brought home the bacon. I didn't like his leadership style or much else about him, and many others agree. Glad he is gone." And it's not just former military leaders speaking out. Yesterday, the current defense secretary, Mark Esper, broke with the president and said he would not support invoking the Insurrection Act, which would permit the president to deploy active duty troops on U.S. soil to quell the protests. That has put Secretary Esper's standing in the Trump administration very much in question. But later in the state, the secretary did make a reversal after a meeting right here at the White House, and he will no longer be sending home all of those active duty troops that have been staging right here in the D.C. area. Ed?
All right, we'll watch it. Kristen Fisher, thank you. Sandra?
Okay, video's over. That was actually pretty scary. This situation just gets more and more chaotic and more confusing.
I have something when Scope was talking about Mattis. I saw a Q post with a link to Real Donald Trump, and I just dropped it for you, with a letter from Marine superstar lawyer John Dowd. Trump says, I thought this...
Yeah, go ahead.
Trump said in his tweet, I thought this letter from respected retired Marine and superstar lawyer John Dowd would be of interest to the American people. Read it. There is an image of the letter, so you might want to bring it up and read it.
Oh, mate, I hate to do it to you, but we've got about 3 minutes, and we need to hear a closing prayer from Scope.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Just can't do it.
No worries.
But you've made some outstanding catches this evening, that's for sure. I hate to leave stuff on the cutting room floor, but we've got 3 or 4 minutes before the video gets too long to process. Technical considerations.
Drop the link in chat. People can read it themselves.
Sir, I'm in a position to say a quick prayer if you need be.
Go ahead, sir.
Father God, we pray to you today at this moment in this time, thanking you for the things that you support us in, the leadership that you give us, the plan that you have put before us. We thank you, Lord God. Thank you for the strong leadership that you bring to this fight, that you bring to stand toe-to-toe with the evil ones. We thank you for all of the wonderful signs of humanity that you have shown us throughout this world, throughout our country. And we ask, Lord God, that you continue to protect our military and those who protect President Trump, his family, and the administration who loves him. Lord God, we also ask that you weigh on the hearts and the minds of the people in our military. Have them understand that the oath that they take is the oath that will save our world, save humanity, save our country, and be able to help and stand with those countries around the world as they clean out their governments, as they clean out the people who have power over us, and those who keep us down and keep us submissive. We ask, Lord God, that you bring leaders among countries so that people may hear not only your word, but, Lord God, hear the wonderful things that you have planned for us. And, Lord God, we thank you for the simple wins, the small victories that you have given us each and every day. And, Lord, we ask that you be with those people who are lonely and afraid and unsure and do not know what may be happening. We ask, Lord God, that you bring people into their lives to help them to understand, to open their eyes, to open their ears, so that they may understand what it is that you have us do. This fight that we're in, this battle that we continue to fight day by day. We thank you for the courage and the hope that you give us. And we thank you that grace and love is in you, Lord God. And we pray to you that the violence stop here in our land and across the world, and that you find a way to stop this madness as it blankets our world and covers us. We, Lord God, follow you, and we pray to you, Lord Father, that you will help us and continue to help us in this battle and lead us and bring leadership forward, Lord God, to fight these battles. And these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen, sir.
Amen.
Thank you so much for that, Scope.
Okay, guys, we've got less than 2 minutes on the clock, and then we'll. Carmen, can you get the Ben or Bicky? I've forgotten his name. The song we play out on. Can you get that lined up, please, Carmen? Anyway, guys, grow the channel. PG for freedom, pleased to meet you. Thank you. Guys, if you can grow this channel hand to hand by word of mouth, I would very much appreciate it. YouTube is throttling what I'm doing, so the only way you will get good access to the channel is by subbing to the Dumpster Truffles channel in YouTube. You'll find a resource there of our archived shows and a few other bits and pieces like cartoons that I made and stuff. And that's what I need you guys to do for me. Tell your friends, tell your family, get involved, get on board. And this Friday show, I try and pack in as much information into the 3 hours or so. So hopefully you enjoy the show, and hopefully we can build it a little better. Let's build the army. And B.E. Atles says Rick Gorbenik. If we could have that song lined up, please, Carmen, that'd be absolutely beautiful. Do you want me to play this through off my own system or play it through Discord, Carmen? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play it through my own system. You won't be able to hear or see the video, so if you've got goodbyes to make, say goodbye now. This is the show.
Thank you, and goodbye, everyone out there listening in YouTube and all of those who follow this channel and this platform. Thank you for spending your time with us. We hope that you've learned something and to gain something today. And rest well tonight, because tomorrow we keep fighting them.
You bet. Shake the mud off your boots, take the next hill, and then take the next hill after that. Goodbye, everybody. See you next Friday. This is Rick Gorbenik. We have his permission to play this song, and thank you very much. Love yous all. Dumpster out.
There are times in life when things get overwhelming, and I've gone as far and as long as I can go. And when I need the most, my failing friends astound me. Lord, you're there, you bring comfort to my soul. And I believe in you. Every word that I've heard, and I know it's true. And when I'm walking through the valleys, you will lead me through. 'Cause I believe you're with me, and I will trust in you. I must walk by faith and not by sight, you told me. And there's rewards for those I know that seek your face. But I can use a glimpse right now, Lord, of your glory. And in my darkest hour, you give me strength. 'Cause I believe in you. Every word that I've heard, and I know it's true. And when I'm walking through 'cause I believe you're with me, and I will trust in you. I raise my hand, sing hallelujah, for you are worthy of our praise. And when the storm comes, Lord, I am running to you, and I will glorify your name. Lord, you've walked my shoes, you filled my pain so free, and you took the nails for me while I was lost. And all the trials that I go through, Lord, they are nothing, no, no, compared to what you went through on that cross. I raise my hand, sing hallelujah, for you are worthy of all praise. And when the storm comes, Lord, I am running to you. I will glorify your name, 'cause I believe in you. Every word that I've heard, and I know it's true. And when I'm walking through the valley, you will lead me through, 'cause I believe you're with me, and I will trust in you. And when I'm walking through the valley, you will lead me through, 'cause I believe you're with me, and I will trust in you.